Okay, welcome back to the live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. I'm John Rogers. We do have enough wind to race now, so we had quite a long delay. We will have the warning signal for race 11A starting at 1:45 p.m. coming up in just a minute. Make sure that you have all your friends gather around. Give them a call, text them, get in those dorm rooms, hook them up to your televisions, in the bars, in the yacht clubs, everything. And especially be watching the replays for the next several days. You know, the college coaches out here use a lot of our tape for their coaching. It saves them a lot of editing time. We have those close-ups from our cameraman that they use often. So you could do the same thing. Set the bar high if you're a young sailor out there and you want to sail in college, and just start watching these champion sailors right out here. We are going to take a look at the results soon. It's really exciting. Georgetown, you know, winners of last year's Coed Nationals have come out with a couple younger sailors, a couple sophomores, and check that out. Amazingly consistent. You know, these teams have a game plan all season, and they adjust it as they go along, and then they come to this regatta, and they have a game plan, and that is to be in the top 5 average every race as best they can. And that team, look at that, 64 points for A, 63 points for Sean Segerblom there in B. BC with Erica Reinecke up there tied for first in the A. I'm picking her as a co-ed All-American for this evening, so keep your eyes out for that. Dartmouth, wow, look at that B division score. Incredible job there. Charleston hanging in there. That's a total, you know, that's pretty hard to make up, but they can do it. And there's the surprise, last year's foul trophy winner for the top team in the country, Yale, down there with 158 points. I just don't see them making that up today. Hobart and William Smith colleges having a good job there. South Florida's done great with Sean Cornell, Kristen Walker winning the A there. Navy, little surprise there with Patrick Snow. They did get disqualified last night in a protest. We had a few protests last night. I believe that one might have been a judging call. Tufts, wow, Tufts. They've been here every year, all 3 national championships since 2010, the only team that I know of there. Roger Williams had a good day yesterday in the A. Look at that. Stanford. I know those guys are pretty focused. I saw them this morning. They've got their headsets on. They're staring at the ground a little bit. I think they're going to come out firing. GW, a little bit of a struggle there at the end of the day, but you can see their B division held them on there with 2 bullets. And beautiful. Let's take a look at the B division or A division. And look on this screen there, folks. If we get the A or B divisions up there, take a look at the names you recognize. Just an incredible list. I'm going to say it again. A division in college sailing is about one of the top 5, 6 skills of fleets in the country for one design racing. I'd love to put some of these kids out in Stars or Snipes and just throw them out there. And there we go. That's the B division. Look at Chris Williford, Sophie Kerr, Nathaniel Greason. Great job. You know, Jack Cusick, as we talked about yesterday, great guys. So look at those names. Scotty Charles Sinks, a really great sailor, got another year to go. It's amazing how many, you know, seniors I am seeing, but there a lot of undergraduates. Again, Hannah Polster, BU, with 2 bullets yesterday, another 5th in a 1 race. Emily Croteau, Lydia Grassberger, just wonderful. Kai Frisecki, I was talking this morning, you know, he sails with Miranda Backus. Miranda Backus is the only sailor who skippered the women's and is now crewing in the co-eds there. So I wouldn't mind having her skipper the co-eds there too. I hear that practice. I have a young sailor that I coach who goes there. They say those practices, she says those practices are amazing. Everybody beating up on each other. Gary Prieto moved up at the end of the day yesterday. He was struggling early at about 16th, early after the first 4, and moved up. There you go. Mackenzie Bryan, good sailor, did well in her semi. Did very well. Dana Rohde, I would have thought we could see her a little bit higher there. I expect her to move up today. What a great, every time I see her, a big smile on her face. Very competitive. Just a great deal there. So now, conditions. Conditions were not good, as you know, as you've been watching and checking back in with us each day. We had everything on the map except for an easterly this morning. So it started out west. It even went north for a little bit. It cooled off the people up on the deck above. It blew the mugginess away. So the humidity has dropped a little. And now it's come all the way back around to the south at about 4 knots. That's enough to race. I wouldn't be surprised that we're going here any second. So if you are looking on the screen there with our live stream here powered by U.S. Sailing, you are looking for a race committee boat, a 17-foot whaler in that mix. It's got a teeny tiny, yes, you can see it, it's just to the right of the big K, 17-foot whaler. That's where Ryan Davidson is leading his group of volunteers. So that will be the race committee boat end. There's a person standing in the front. Now you're looking for the other end, which would be a small white inflatable. It looks like it's off our screen just slightly to the right, quite a bit actually, to the right of that blue powerboat out there. So that will be your starting line, folks. If you haven't been watching the last week, we did Women's Nationals last year, and that was the Yale Bulldogs winning the Women's Nationals. My opinion, they won it downwind. I still can't get an answer out of them. You know, they are very tight-lipped. They're not telling me much. I'm trying to find out how could they pass 6 to 8 boats on about 50% of the runs. And that was how they won that event. And then we went into the Laser Performance Team Racing Nationals. We saw that great celebration. Go back and watch it on Facebook Live. Charleston threw on a party after that. That was a lot of fun to watch, what college sailing celebration should be all about. They were crowned the Team Racing National Champs. So here we are, live stream with U.S. Sailing, and there's the gate buoys in front of you. You can see the teams sailing around. I did find out why the Z420s were starting first. The B division was in the C420s yesterday, and my theory was incorrect. The real theory is that the real reason, according to the race committee, is the Z420s are quite a bit faster than the FJs. So today you'll have the A division starting first in the Z420s. The Z420s only have a colored clue patch at the back corner and a colored head patch at the top. The FJs will be the B division. They have Gill written on their sails, big logos there. Thank you to Gill for all their support. We will have very soon Matt shown from Gill again like we did yesterday. We'll have Jerry, their manager from England there, who will be coming and joining us as well, I believe. So a lot of fun to talk to those guys. So we expect to hear some horns going pretty soon. You will see a green flag go on the back of the 17-foot whaler when 3 minutes are called. In racing, we are still allowed to receive outside assistance until the 2-minute gun. At the 2-minute horn, we are officially racing, so penalty turns come into play after that. And we must sail by the rules all together there. And so if we foul somebody with 5 seconds to go, it could be really bad because we will start last. If we foul with somebody with a minute to go, we're all set because we can get it done before the start. There you go, folks. Back home, hopefully you're watching it at your colleges. You're watching it at your yacht clubs. Please hook it up to the TV through the Mac or whatever computer you got. Put a cable up to the television. Have everybody watching it. Those are the sail numbers that your schools are going to have for this next A division race. Race 11, we got 10 races in both divisions yesterday. 20 races in one 4 to 7 knot day. Race committees out there, take note. Throw out buoys, blow some horns, and race. You know, we got 154 15-minute races in for the Team Racing Nationals. So get more races in, make it more fun for everybody out there. This race committee's proven you can do it. We've had plenty of current, and we've had plenty of moderate wind there. Okay, Georgetown leading the regatta with sail number 3. They win the starting award for yesterday. The reason why, well, one of the reasons why, is they were able to get off near the boat end, a third of the way down from the boat end, that 17-foot whaler, and they were able to be bow out or bow to bow with everybody. And in this A division, if you get a bad start, it truly is really hard to come back. This is a very deep, deep group of kids who sail 4, 5, 6 days a week for 4 years. And Georgetown there, Charleston in 17, BC in 6. See if Erica can get up there and stay in first. I'd love to see that. Kings Point 9. Kings Point had a pretty good day. Okay, well, thank you very much. You're with us here at the live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. I'm John Rogers. And U.S. Sailing wants you to know, college-age sailors, take note. Did you know that if you're a college-age sailor that U.S. Sailing has a membership designed just for you? A 4-year individual college membership for only $95, and that is good for 4 years. That's a 65% savings over regular pricing. Go to ussailing.org/join today and get yours today along with a free U.S. Sailing College Nationals t-shirt. It's a deal.
Yes, and unfortunately we do have a tiny bit of back off in the breeze. I still think they're going to try to start something soon here, folks, so stick around. We have plenty of cool things because this evening we will be giving out many, many awards. Make sure you get to Facebook Live after the racing and pay close attention to that because we have many, many awards going out this evening to the crowd. We will be giving out the Henry A. Morris Trophy to the first place team overall. We'll be giving out the Oxford Trophy for the second place team, and the Metropolitan goes to the third place team. And then we will give out the Robert Allen Senior Award to the winner of the A Division, so the team that wins the A Division, and then the Robert Allen Junior Award will be getting the top skipper and crew in that B Division. So that's 5 awards going out, and then they're going to name the finalists for the Marlowe Ropes Coed College Sailor of the Year. So they'll probably name 3, 4 finalists in my opinion. You know, this regatta has turned things upside down in my opinion a little bit. Ian Barrows, 4-time All-American. I was thinking he comes in here, gets top 3 in A, and he's it. And he is sitting down there in 10th or 11th if you look at that. And then Patrick Snow also I think will be a finalist. I'm wondering who the other finalists are going to be. So tune in there. Make sure you follow it on Facebook Live later to see those. And then what they will do is they will call up honorable mention, All-American crews and skippers, and then they will call that event over. It's just been a wonderful event. We do want to make a shout out right now to somebody who's very instrumental in this community and in many people's communities around the country. Danielle Richards became ill here early in the week. Danielle is the ICSA rep for this event. She also works at One Design Management in San Diego. A shout out to Geraldine Beal, Sherry Campbell out there. They manage many sailboat classes and they make the sport fun for people. They take all of the guesswork out of these One Design fleets. And Danielle works for them, and she is just absolutely admired and loved and respected in the sport of sailing when it comes to organizing things. And I've had the pleasure of being on the Youth Action Committee in San Diego for 20 years, 18 years now with Danielle. So all the best to you, Danielle. I hope you're watching us there, relaxing. I know you're watching us, relaxing. You're probably bored to tears over there. Get better soon. Okay, so we will have a few other thank yous going on over here. And, you know, it's just been a great opportunity to work with so many people who are, you know, instrumental here. I would like to make another shout out to Mitch Brindley, who's worked so hard to keep this large format going, where we take 36 teams, put them in semis, and then dwindle down to the top 18. Mitch has been instrumental in that. And you know, folks, these guys, I think I just heard a couple of horns. Folks, this is such a wonderful thing to support. It takes a lot of money and effort to pull off these huge formats of a full week and a half event. And so please go to collegesailing.org, look up the donation button there, and these kids are amazing kids to support. They travel 3-4 days a week. I mean, practice there. They're traveling Friday afternoons, Sunday nights late in their cars, falling asleep on each other's shoulders, studying together. It is a beautiful thing to see, and what a wonderful thing to support. So we are in sequence. The A fleet is that orange flag you see there. So they have when you see an only orange flag up, oh, the orange flag came down. I'm looking at the wrong boat. When you see that change to 2 flags, that means that you have less than 2 minutes. Right now I know we have less than 3. Okay, so they go with just 1 flag, folks. I believe they will drop that flag at 1 minute, so I'm not totally up to speed on exact procedures with college sailing. Yes, they are in sequence, and we have a current that is going on your screen, everybody out there. It's going from our left to right on the screen. And the sailors love to start in that because you can keep moving your boat through the water, but the boat is not moving over the bottom of the bay where the boat is anchored. So essentially you can keep flow over the centerboard, and over the rudder you can keep water flowing over there. So control is very easy. So you're not going to see a whole lot of luffing. Later on when this changes, when you're racing at 4:30 today, you're going to see a lot of luffing approaching the line because the tide is going to switch after 3:50 today. Okay, they're on their final approach, folks. We can only see one end of the starting line there, and you can just see on the left there, the committee boat end. To your right is going to be a white inflatable, and you notice nobody is at the boat here. So what that means is the starting line is not perpendicular to the wind. Here they go. Big rock, pin ends favored. See the white inflatable with the little flag? The flag is the line, the tiny Coast Guard flag there. These guys. So, very difficult for the race committee to get a starting line between those 2 flags that are exactly perpendicular to the line. And if it's not perpendicular, it means one end or the other is further upwind. And that's why we saw everybody down at the pin. First time we've seen the pin favored by that much. In high school sailing, with less experienced sailors, they often set the pin quite a bit more favored because the kids just struggle with that inexperience with still starting well up at the boat, and a lot of the kids. You know, it's just harder to stay behind the line when you're going perpendicular, you know, you're going through the line instead of kind of along it. High school sailing, you'll often see people start and tack right away because they set the pin 8-10 degrees favored sometimes just so they don't have general recalls. So look at that. Boat 1 out there, hard right. They are at least in the top 10, I believe. Yes, Fordham. They started out pretty good, had some good races yesterday, but they had enough bad races that I still think they're happy with their performance here. Unranked, maybe 19th, maybe, going into the last polls of May 4th. And then they come out and they had a great semi, a good semi. Right next to them, rolling them just slightly, is GW in 12. Yep. Behind them, again, those yellow numbers. I'm going to say 16 is that number. Stanford, yes. Stanford, I have a feeling, is going to go ahead and just cross barely. And actually, I think they're going to slam those guys. I think they're going to go ahead and try to put them to bed. Oh, yep, they laid up under them. Okay, wow, it's changed. They are headed. I don't know if you noticed, but those boats are pointed towards the Yorktown, but 14, 11, and 10 and 3 there are pointed a little upriver, up the Cooper River here. I think these lefties are crossing. There we go. Boat 3 crossing there, Georgetown, off to another good start. They're not winning right now, but I'm going to say top 5. Now the crew's going to start talking about the boats to their left. I think boat 17 here, hard left, is first. I'm going to call it already. 2 minutes from the mark. Charleston, I think, is going to round first. Boat 5 is in fast death right behind them. Roger Williams there. They have to stay lifted there, though. Again, oh, okay. They decided bad air was just too much. Charleston has everybody buried on the right. The skipper probably already sees that, so they're going to play close attention to their lefties here. You know, they can give up some distance on 11 out there and not worry about it. Santa Barbara, hard right, really rough day. I can't believe Chris Swanson. That shows you the depth, man. Chris Swanson was one of our champion Club 420 sailors out in California from the Bay Area up there. And my goodness, here he was, you know, right there near the back of the fleet or something there. So Santa Barbara, we may see Sterling Hankin, Paris Hankin's twin brother, another Coronado sailor who's here, who sails for Santa Barbara. Second team all-conference skipper Sterling Hankin did get out crewing yesterday, and we'll probably see him skippering today. Okay, so wow, 5 gained over there. Do you see how perfectly Charleston played that? Put 5 in slow death. You see how they're dying? It's just a slow death. Oh, man. And they know it. They know it. They're just trying to buy their time. You know, here they come back. Maybe they'll put 15 in slow death next, but 15 has got to easily bow on them. 15 crossing, 5 there by inches. Oh, there you go, young kids. Have you ever yelled starboard at people over and over again and then had them tack to leeward of you and slow death you? Sometimes we don't take our right away. Oh my goodness, there's some advanced sailing right now. 5 said, hey, I'm top 3. Why would I want 15 to lee bow me? Cross, cross. I didn't hear it from here, but I'm sure he said it. He did not want 15 tack and let him go. Okay, so 15's going to round second there. BU buds coming around. They're coming on strong. Excellent. 6 just on their tail. BC. So folks, this is the A division in the Z420. Z420's faster than the FJs. They have to start them first. So that's why they started the B division first yesterday. Current going left to right. So they are going to move quite quick downwind. That's the advantage to the leaders. The leaders can squirt away while everybody else is bucking the current going the other way. Yeah, so I guess we've got our drone out there finally there to, so you might see it flying around out there a little bit. We've had, you know, the Yorktown just being a wonderful, I'll tell that story in a minute, but we have a helicopter that flies people around out here. So when the helicopter's going, we're a little bit shut down on the drone, but we got clearance. We got clearance. Clarence. What's your vector, Victor? Very good. So again, do you see how the leaders squirted out? Some boats going one way fast, the other boats still going upwind, and then you're should see it compress back down here. 15 has moved into a nice overlap to leeward of BU. BU established that overlap from behind so they do not have luffing rights, meaning that they have to sail their proper course. They are right of way there, leeward boat BU. They're both on the same tack rule right now. But Charleston has to stay clear, but it doesn't have to worry about it. They're still overlapped. BU is still overlapped on the stern and definitely on the rudder. These boats are not laying the gate, so we will start to see some jibes here. And it is really hard to tell, guys. The current has impact on the wind on the water. In other words, if the current is moving faster through the water in one area against the wind or with the wind, or not moving as fast with the wind, it will read, the darkness on the water will read differently. So now the crews will have an extremely hard time deciding what is the current wind and what is the true ground wind there. Or those are two different things, excuse me, but the true wind, let's say. Yep, so there the A division is coasting downwind. The tide will get them quite quick. And that is the A's in the Z420s. And Charleston is going to round on the inside of BU. See BU doing a nice little rock there. We call that a transition. Charleston decides to go wing it and just gap a little bit. Now this is the hard call, folks. Which buoy do you think, if you could guess, is further upwind? If those two orange buoys there, you can see one now, but the other one off to the right of that one you see, if the line between those two are not perpendicular to the wind, it looks like the left one's further upwind. So it looks like BU's going to take the lead here. Charleston round second and maybe third. Charleston did have an indecision there. BC's going to round second at the left gate is my opinion. And Charleston is going to have a hard time here. They look confused a little. There we go. You see the other gate buoy in there. Okay. It turns out the right buoy is the favored buoy here for these guys. So is there an overlap? I think BU gets around just in front. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Is Charleston going to be in slow death? I believe so. I would not doubt we see Charleston tacking out of there pretty soon. Great rounding by BU, knowing that slow death's coming up. They did a beautiful job of just giving them just enough seaman-like room there. That's all you have to give. Just enough room to round safely. BU off the screen there is, there we go. Okay, who is... We need to take a short break and repower our system. Okay, sorry folks for the inconvenience. We have had some interruptions here with the service for live stream powered by US Sailing. I'm John Rogers. We have to reboot our system quickly and we will be right back up. Stick around. Okay, folks, we apologize for that. All of our systems shut down on the, even our communication system internally. We had some sort of pulse through the Yorktown here or something. It has happened a couple of times. So we apologize again. We have a race on our hands. BU has been overtaken by BC. So here you have the A division. Erica Reinicke's going to, if she holds on to this, she is going to take the lead in the A division. She was tied in the A division going into today. So definitely Charleston still holding barely on to third maybe. BU holding on to second. Charleston coming in off our screen to our left here
In front of you, boat 8 coming in with some pretty good speed. There's Brown. Okay, there we go. Beautiful roll tap. Okay, there you go. BU in 15. Boat 6 has taken the lead there. BC. And here we are back. This is the B division here, folks. The B division is in their first race of the day, race 11. And you know that their B division, they've got Gill on the sails, and they are just coming around the gates in their first race of the day. Dartmouth sitting in third going into the day, I believe is leading there. Yes, leading the pack, followed closely in second by Coast Guard. Great Dana, just like I was saying, make me look good, Dana. Dana Rohde, I don't think, she's smiling all the time. She doesn't look unhappy, but I'm sure there's a little fire in there this morning when she got up. She wanted to go there. There's 15 BU having a good race behind them. Hannah Polster there. Great. Another top 5 for her. That would be wonderful. So we have switched to the B division here. I'm John Rogers here for Livestream powered by U.S. Sailing. You can see we're at the Gill Coed College National Championship. Look at that. That FJ, man, you're not changing much. They're probably holding the main very steady. There's your teams, folks. That's their sail numbers right there. Dartmouth 10, Charleston 17, 18 there, Coast Guard. Okay, so we are back in the A division. We've jumped back to the A's in the Z420s. And what a race it is. It's going to whip down here. They are riding with this current. We got very lucky the last 2 days that the magnitude of the currents is about half as much as it was. In other words, the range between low and high tide, which is usually between 5 and 7.5 feet here, is down at the 5-foot level. During team racing, we had 6.6 knots a swing one day. Here we go, back in the B's. Big lead for Dartmouth. You can see the FJ is a little bit more of a quick flatten. They kind of roll, get it there, flatten all the way. The FJ has quite a bit of weather helm. Even in light air, you're sailing almost perfectly flat until you start to get chop and light. Once you get chop and light, you definitely play the jib and heel the boat just a tick through that chop. Okay, it's very light there. These boats are bucking the current upwind. You can see the A's going downwind. For the A's going downwind, we're about 2 minutes. Yes, I think we're sticking with the A. I think we're sticking with the A's here because, there's a lot of good races in the A's over here. And I think we're going to be ripping down to the finish line here. About 2 minutes to the finish, folks, for the A division of race 11. We will not get 18 in to finish the full rotation, everybody. We had a little bit of a weak high pressure this week. How many sailors have been out there and been to a regatta and they say, oh, we didn't get the conditions that are normal? We kind of suffer from that. I hope everybody feels like it's been exciting. For us, it's been very exciting to watch just the talent and the composure of the future leaders of our country here. College sailors just produce such, 8 hours a day on the water produces some character there, and it's been so fun. So hopefully you're following along out there with your friends. Hopefully you're chatting it up. So there you go. Great. BC I'm gonna call it here. They're gonna take the bullet. They're still a minute and a half away. Behind them, doing well, Roger Williams, boat 5. Really nice jibe there. You can see how those booms just kiss the water. Outside here in 18, is that 18 for Coast Guard? Yes, that was Dana Rohde coming on today. She has dropped from 3rd to 4th, but that's a keeper for her. That's going to move her up a couple places. Make sure, okay folks, so the finish line is that little white inflatable you see out there, and you see the little white buoy is the other end. So tiny flag is the actual line itself. And man, those people have had a lot of time in the sun. There you go. We're in reach mode on BC there. Protective mood here. Protect mode.
Erica's just reaching for a little bit just to get in front of 5. I don't think she's worried, but you never know in a drifter. You just never know. So there you go. Great job, BC. We're going to see how they start the next race in that same boat number. Everyone will stay in that same boat number through race 12. Great shot there, Dana. Let me find that crew name there. Probably Maddie Aiken. Still winging it. Yes, so make sure we are out there sharing the Facebook Live to your friends, posting it on your pages, sharing it out there with any groups you're associated with. Get them in here for the last few races of the Gill Coed College Sailing Nationals and the Facebook Live awards presentation later with Mitch Brindley, the president of ICSA, distributing all the fabulous awards that recognize everybody. So look at your teams there, coming in mid-pack there. 13, the Yale Bulldogs. That is not what they wanted, how they wanted to start there. Well, folks, I think we're going to move back to the middle of the course here. We have a horizon job going on here with Dartmouth, and it is pretty amazing. The leader's off the screen there, folks. The leader is actually to the right of the screen there of your view. So the leader is winning by a lot off the screen. You all can go to collegesailing.org, scroll down the page below your live stream broadcast screen there, and you will find the final results. You can find the full scores for all 11 races. Would not doubt that A Division's races are already up or very close to up. Then you can go to the A Division scores, you can go to the B Division scores, and then click on Sailors as well, because then you will see how each division is doing for each team. So you can see, for instance, BC's got first in one division, and what's their B Division doing. You can see quickly why teams are in the front and why teams are maybe not. Okay, so we are coming to the finish here in the B Division with the Gill on their mainsail. And there we go. Little further right to get the leader in the picture. We still don't have the leader in the picture. There we do now. And they're going to the finish, folks. A little amazing. That guy is wing on wing solid. For the first time, we've seen somebody who's actually pretty darn solid wing on wing. Where I don't even think the crew has to hold the boom there. Now again, do you guys see that dark lane that always seems to be outside the gate there? Believe it or not, folks, that is the water moving against the wind a little bit. It's stirring up the water just a tiny bit more than other places, so a bad crew will actually say there is a puff here. Or a bad sailor, I would say. They would actually tell their skipper that is a puff. They may feel a tiny bit more apparent wind if that was going upwind or whatever, but truly that is just water moving under the wind, causing some turbulence in the water, actually some roughness to the water, makes it look dark, and people misread that as a puff. So if you're reaching over there, you're making a mistake. There's no more wind in that. And you'll notice in our long views, you'll notice great shot there. Colton Wright, thank you this week. You have got the best shots out there with your buddy Corey, getting the best on the water shots there. Dartmouth coming across the finish line there. You see that College of Charleston flag there. There they go. Wow. Just incredible performance there. So, Christopher Williford. What makes that kid so fast? I wish I knew. I wish I could bottle that up. Him and his brother. 50 points going into the day. Chris Williford just extended his lead there with a big deal there. So 15 across the line. Very good job in that race for BU. 18 across the line over there. Coast Guard had a good race.
South Florida Bulls in the B division there. Don't know how they did in the A. I'm wondering if they're still, nope. South Florida definitely moved out of first. Okay, there you go, folks. Make sure you are following on the rotations, again, at collegesailing.org, but also Adam Burke, our savant graphics guy here, 19-year-old, doing a wonderful job. First time with our production team. And he sets me up, me being 50, he's been setting me up on all my technological things like my my computer things and getting my plane tickets printed out or put on my mobile phone for me. So thank you, Adam, there. Well, there you go, folks. We are waiting for race 12. We can get ready. They will all be in the same numbers. We just had the get ready to hear the warning signal. Now, folks, you do have to remember, if you hear sound signals from our cameras, we are off the course. So we are going to be 1, 2, or 3 seconds delayed on those signals. Yep, so we're in the 3-minute sequence here for the A divisions, and we are going to queue up a great interview that we had yesterday with the eventual leaders in the A division, Sean and Kristen from the University of South Florida, and let's send it off to that interview that we had with them yesterday.
All right, I'm recording whenever you're ready.
Hello again, John Rogers here with a couple of great sailors from the University of South Florida. We've got Sean Cornell, a junior, and Kristen Walker, a senior. I'm really proud to stand next to these two. These are academic All-Americans from last year. And so Sean, where did you grow up? What was your path in sailing?
I grew up on Long Island, sailed Long Island Sound, Opties, 420s, a lot of light air sailing. And then I brought it down to Florida to continue sailing in college.
And Kristen, you were not ranked going into this semifinals. What place did you guys get in the semifinals over the last 2 days?
Well, we were in 10th the first day, and the second day we dropped down to 8th, so we were able to qualify for finals.
And so unranked going into the regatta. Were you guys surprised to make the finals? Were you expecting to make the finals? Were you just like most teams, just sailing the best you can?
We were kind of sailing the best we could. We were hoping, obviously, to make finals, and I'm really glad that we did.
Yeah. So, 2016 Academic All-Americans. That is not easy, folks. There are more sailing All-Americans than there are academic All-Americans annually. It's a very challenging thing to achieve. So, does college sailing enhance your education, and how does it enhance your education? And how difficult is it?
Yeah, I would say it does. Our team as a group, pretty academic team. We meet up in the library a lot, and we keep each other focused both on the water and off the water. And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, it seems to me you guys are studying in vans on the way home late at night on Sunday nights.
Yes.
And that bonds you all together. What do you love about the University of South Florida's sailing team?
I love that it's right on campus and right on the water. You're walking to class and you see the boats, you see dolphins. It's just all right there and really close.
Well, I'm really glad that these two agreed on this morning. They've been training all season for this event. And I'm really glad that you guys joined us here. And I'm John Rogers here looking out at the race course behind me. And,
that was just great to talk to
much.
those guys. They came out at the end of the day and in first in the A division. So excellent here. I've brought back Maura Lonergan, that helper yesterday, our co-commentator who did a great job. There is the start of A. Again, we have more of an even lineup, don't we, Maura, along the line. It's not so much crammed at the boat today, is it?
Looks like people have a little bit more room than they did yesterday. Maybe some opportunity for different people to shoot ahead. So it'll be good. Looks like everybody's kind of off to a bit of an even start. We'll see.
Yes, Charleston there, girl, number 17, bow out just a little, playing it safe. They've really sailed well tactically here. They've kind of crisscrossed the middle a few times, but it's because they just play the fleet so well.
Should be interesting to see what they do today. Is that them who just tacked back over?
If you see a team that plays the fleet really well, believe it or not, at the world level, playing the fleet, playing your side and winning your fleet is one of the most important things. But if a team is good at that, it's usually the crew, because the crew feeds information like, oh,
those guys on the right are poked out, but we've got everybody on the left, or vice versa. It really helps out. It looks like to me, I'm going to call it, I think the guys on the right actually are ahead of these guys on the left. I think these guys out here are ahead, but maybe it's about. We're going to have to see. That's Charleston has really extended out on a couple of those boats. I know one boat tacked. Yale in trouble there. This is the A division today, folks, in the Z420s all day. The Z420s should look to you a little wider. They do have the colored clue patch and the colored head patch, and Gill is not on their sail, so that's how you know the Z420. So here we go. In the next minute, we are going to see the first crosses with the leaders. Those boats you see on port tack there are actually not our leaders. There we go. There is Ian Barrows, a finalist for College Sailor of the Year last year. Maybe Grace Ann Nicolosi there, possibly. I don't know the crew's faces. Boat 6 out there just did the perfect roll tack. Do you see how they just slowly pull the boat back down instead of going super fast? There we go. Okay, so I am wrong. 17 is going to be leading Charleston. The right was not even close. So what do you do now? You think you're leading, you've got everybody to the left of you in the bank, and you've got some boats on the right that can still get you. What would you be doing if you were sailing with, who's sailing there for you?
Stefano. Actually, Stefano's really great at fleet management. I sailed with him a lot last year. He's very talented. But, you know, as a crew, you're always telling your skipper, you know, where boats are in comparison to you. You're always looking underneath your boom, making sure that you are, in fact, crossing and clearing everybody. But you know, where the mark is, where the wind is, where the pressure is, but looks like they're pretty shot out there, so making sure that you're continuing to make your boat go fast.
Well, Yale was in bad air. I don't know if you saw 13 for the first few minutes, but 13 sailed in fast death or below fast death for quite a long time, and boat 13 is now going to round second. And kids out there, you know, sometimes us coaches will put things in the bottle, and we'll tell you things like, never sail in bad air, or never, never. I'm just going to give you advice right now. It's stupid. Never say never, man. We just saw a world champion, in my opinion, future skipper, just prove to you that, yeah, sometimes, you know, you just got to know when to go against the book. And we just saw it. He was in bad air. He was third row off the line, second and a half row.
I know at Charleston, a lot of the times we talk about finding a seam. So it's better to, you know, sail in bad air for a little bit to get to where you can get some pressure and where the wind and where it's favored, as opposed to just sailing, you know, on the wrong side of the course, just hoping for clean air.
Yep, so Fordham in 1 was going to be coming in, you know, with about 6 boats ahead of them, and they should get through there. There we go. Is it true Stefano either went to the Olympics or trained for the Olympics?
Stefano did indeed compete in Rio in the laser fleet for his hometown Peru, or home country.
Oh, man.
Peru, yeah. Very talented sailor.
It's hard to find nicer people in the sailing world than Peruvians, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Chileans too, and, you know, the Dutch. I mean, there's a bunch, but man, I think we got, do we have a Peruvian coach down in St. Croix now? I just can't remember if that's where he's from.
Not sure, but
Where is
after
he?
sailing with Stefano for a year, I can say that he's definitely one of the nicest skippers that I've ever worked with.
Awesome. Yale, there coming. Oh, there he is. There's the man right there. A Rio Olympian, folks. Is that amazing? You know, College of Charleston had Paris Hankin sail in the Olympics. You know, her hair's on fire all the time. She loves to go fast in the 49er FX, and a laser is a true testament of hiking skill too. If you can't steer and hike, which is 2 different things, if you can't do 2 things well, then you can't be world champion in a laser. So very impressed. I wouldn't doubt that we're going to see him again in Tokyo.
We were lucky. We actually had two boys on our team. You know, I'm representing College of Charleston, that were both in the laser fleet in Rio. So hopefully they'll both be at Tokyo.
Kings Point U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, and those guys seem to be, you know, feeling okay. Charles Lomax there, and Charles is a junior rising senior. as you look, folks, you see the B division with the Gill on their sails mixing through the fleets. It's kind of cool. We've got half the boats on starboard, half the boats on port in both fleets. So the race committee has done just a really good job in these tricky conditions. And amazing. They just started, didn't they?
I think so.
The bees?
Yeah.
Can you believe who's, last time it was all left, right? You saw Yale come out of the left from near last, and now look at the bees. You're going to see, if we can go further left on the screen there, you're going to see the right is paying enormously. So the leaders here are out from the hard right this time. Let's see if 10 can wind up on a little lift and get back in there. They got like 13 starboard tackers coming at them. Look at that. There's your leader. Should be boat number 8 up there winning. Yeah, boat number 8. Excuse me, Brown, yes. Boat number 10, Dartmouth, is not going to be winning this race.
It's interesting. This is the perfect example of how, what happens in one race, even if it is the race right in front of you, is so different than what can happen. So you just always have to keep your eyes out of the boat.
Oh my goodness, is that just beautiful? Dartmouth was able to just relax, and it's got a little angle there, little lift, and they are, they just crossed that pack. I'm going to say they're going to be 4th. 3rd. So it is deceiving. Here we go. Let's see if they can pull this off, folks. They got to pull off a lee bow. The tide is pushing them right to left, so, wow. That is just remarkable. It shows you the little oscillations out there. Chris Williford, great shot there. Big, tall kid. He's such a calm young man, Check his pulse once in a while, see if he's, he's just so calm. There you go, Stefano. No. Sorry,
That's
Scott.
Jack Cusick.
Jack Cusick, thank you. Who's crewing for him?
Chloe Dapp. She's a senior. She just graduated. So she's a great crew.
Yes, and she is a Newport Beach sailor, I believe. The factory, Newport Harbor High School, developing just a factory of crew. There you go, folks. If you can watch that, you see how the boom kissed? Well, that was a little more of a kiss, but kiss, it's a little breezier. As it picks up a tiny bit right now, the boom will hit the water harder. There you go. That was a kiss. That was barely a kiss. Look how they hold the tiller, everybody. If you're a young sailor, it's the microphone grip. We teach you just like that from age 8. So if you're 11 or 12 learning to sail and it's hard to hold it like that, just look at every sailor and they are all holding like that. I think we are going to keep on the A division here and watch them get around the gates. They have another lap. A finish. A finish. A finish. Yeah, so here we go. Colton shot there. Again, A division squeaking off to your left. B division with the current going towards your right. A division going towards your right. So I think Chris Williford has gapped out here a tiny bit. Maybe not. Yeah. B division going downwind is Chris Williford has gained back and gained back a little bit, I believe. And 17 out there. It'll be interesting to see. Sometimes we've seen those boats out there come in there just fine. So I think it's going to be about the same. There you go. They will have another lap there in that A group there. They will have another lap. So that group will go down. No, that's not right.
I think they're finishing.
I think they're finishing too.
Yes, I think these boats are finishing here. I apologize, not another lap on the A's. Oh, great. Corey, beautiful. $17 there coming towards the finish line. Yep, Charleston takes the bullet. Great
Amazing.
job. Right in behind them, Yale. So that left early paid. Very good. Fordham comes in there in third. BC hanging in there, another good race, probably still winning the event here. Yes, definitely. Boat 9. Kings Point, very good. Yeah. B division, you can see it's a little windier, folks. You see the overbend wrinkles in the main? That means they're pulling the main sheet even harder. Once the boat starts to feel good, which it really hasn't felt good. Ooh, there's the frying pan grip. That's what you do other than the microphone grip, folks. You see that frying pan grip there? He's just pushing it on the deck so he doesn't move the rudder, doesn't create drag there. Dartmouth, Chris Williford there, just neutral helm. And they're pulling the main sheet harder now because the boat feels wonderful. So that's overbend wrinkle. You can tell how tight everybody else. Ooh, that was we're going to tack. Oh, no, we're lifted. Let's not tack. But those overbend wrinkles are from the main sheet tension that he's put on. Maybe they put a touch of Vang on. Did it? Maybe that's the first time we've put Vang on for the last 3 days. Much Vang. Okay, I couldn't see what she was adjusting there. 17 in the B division there. Charleston is going to take 2 bullets. Are you excited? Are you nervous inside here?
Oh, I am so excited. I hope that, if the Cougars are able to sail well for the rest of the day, it would be amazing to win 2 out of the 3 championships.
Yeah,
So.
folks, they take the lead. You saw Chris there think about attack. And then he started to attack, and then he wasn't able to. That's indicative of a lift. So the boats that were closer to that right wind shift gain, I wish Bill Gladstone from North U here, he could actually show us a geometric diagram of if that was a 4-degree shift, how far apart those boats were. He could come up with like an algorithm or something on how many feet were gained with that 4-degree shift. So there's a 4-degree shift right there, folks. 2 coming from the Charleston side there, and we have a new leader. Chris Williford taking a 3rd here is going to still, be happy with that top 3. But it was just one of those things where things happen. I don't think that was a real plan. I think the wind just went right. Yep, Brown Bear is going to come in here in a second. And, we did, like I said earlier, we did get that drone up for race 11. And we should be, when we got clearance from the helicopter to fly it, we got some footage, and we are going to get to show you that very soon. There's your 2 bullets, back-to-back bullets here for the Charleston Cougars there.
So far, so good. Excited to see what else they pull out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it seems like they just, like that fleet management thing we were talking about, and you mentioned as well, it seems like they kind of just doing that extremely well, just being able to play the pressure in the other boats and know where to kind of position themselves without getting too far out to the edges. There you go, 10 coming right into your screen. Dartmouth, another good race. 13 there. Yale, pretty good race. They still haven't clicked on all cylinders there. 11. Santa Barbara in a good race. I'm hoping my boy Sterling might be skippering. Let's go to check the sailors there at collegesailing.org. If you go to there, and you can see all the people. They are updating these as we go along. Let's see if they did put Sterling Hankin in as a skipper. They did. Sterling Hankin skippering 11-12, just had a great race. Sterling being the twin brother of Paris Hankin. A lot of people not from California don't know that they're twins. And
There you go. I think they're going to pop you guys up on the drone here, and we'll get to see some drone footage there as we watch the ship. This is race 11A, so this race was a little while ago, and yep.
I know earlier you were talking about fleet management, and I know something that we do a lot is the crews. They say instead of their skipper, instead of just telling them where the pressure is or, advice about the conditions, we'll say, if we were to tack, this is what would happen. Or if we were to continue, this is what were to happen. So, it's really easy then to paint a picture for your skipper, and that really helps a lot too with managing the fleet.
Yeah, it's such a teamwork thing, and that's why it's great you kids out there get into it, because and individually, initially, you should all be out there learning how to skipper. Don't pigeonhole yourself as a crew too young. Please don't let anybody do that to you. Get the tiller in your hand when you can. Crew when you can. Don't specialize. Get out there and do both positions, and make sure you're really learning, because really, ultimately, at some point, I was so lucky. My resume is padded by all the people I sailed with. I got so lucky to sail with Moose McClintock, Chris Snow, Bill Hardesty, Doug Hart. Just the list goes on and on. And the one thing I realized is at some point I realized how important teamwork was, because I saw when I messed up and they didn't, I saw what the impact was. And so as you get older, kids out there, you come out here and race, and you are truly challenging yourself and challenging that every day. And it can be quite stressful. Yeah, so we've got some drone footage of a start here, looking at the Ravenel. How do you say that?
The Ravenel.
The Ravenel Bridge. Beautiful bridge over there, just super thin. I don't know how they build something that thin and stays up. Suspension bridge, I guess. Beautiful current lines. You see those lines, folks? Those lines, you have winds either, tidal currents either going different directions or swirling, or going the same direction at different speeds. So the turbulence that those factors create cause foam and other debris to gather into those lines. So you can see current lines all over, and we do use those. So this was the first race today, folks. This is a coverage of the first race. We had the pin end favored for the first time. You see the pin boat there with the flag. I don't know who's on that pin boat, but I hope they haven't been out here for 10 days of the last 11, because they have not had coverage over them. And I can tell you, I feel so grateful for the coverage here on the USS Yorktown. So thank you to all the race committee. Look at this, kids. Oh man, that is just beautiful. Yes, Corey driving our drone out there today. That is just beautiful. So that was the first race. Look at that current line out there, folks. That's where the currents go in different speeds. That current line we saw out. Now the one inside of us is showing a different speed between the gate buoy current and the current close to Yorktown. So we will see the water close to the Yorktown actually ebbing here, folks, in the next hour. So you'll see it switch first along the shore. Beautiful, beautiful. Race 11A earlier today. There is, yeah. See that Z420 get way over and then a big flatten. Yep, boats in different currents there. You see how these guys cross that current line and then tack? So we may have less current over here in the 8 foot of water. Is that what you think, Maura?
I think so. The current's always ripping at Charleston, so making sure that you're on the right side, it's such a huge factor, more so than so many other college venues.
Yes, folks, we are being moved. Okay, so thank you everybody for this drone footage. We're lucky to be able to get it up today. And Corey Connor, thank you so much for driving that thing out there and all the great footage you've given us throughout all this. We are going to go off to some ads, send it off to some ads.
And wind, and used the stars to guide us. In that vastness, we created speed and discovered freedom. The sea called us, and our desire for adventure was too instinctive to ignore. So we did it for pleasure, camaraderie, and the challenge. We bestowed it to our children, and they to their children. Now, to know it.
Great. Well, we are looking at the A division sitting by the starting line. We are getting ready for race 13, folks. I don't think we're going to get 18 in. We are sitting here. I've got my expert commentators from yesterday both back. I'm really glad. You guys must have had a good time yesterday. We're back with Sarah Wilkinson.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, you did a great job yesterday. Maura Lonergan here too. Maura, you are a what again in college?
I just finished my sophomore year, so I'm going into my junior year.
Rising junior, and
Same with me. I'm also going into my junior year.
So we have two College of Charleston sailors. Maura's still on the Dinghy team. Sarah's more the offshore Melgis 30 and J36 sailor, right? That must be a major transition to jump.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. Symmetrical spinnaker on a big, heavy cruising boat, and then asymmetrical on a rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's so good, these college, keelboat racing is just growing, folks. Try not to diversify too much. Don't do team racing, match racing, 420 racing, laser racing. Try not to go too many different directions. Try to, narrow your range of practice and all these things at younger ages, folks. But definitely it's amazing the opportunities. Once you get to college, you can jump around, right?
Yeah, you absolutely can. And I mean, here we've got, obviously at all colleges, we've got everything. And we're lucky enough to be one of the few programs that does also have varsity offshore team as well.
Yeah, so I am sitting between two people. Moira not quite, fired up. She's holding her composure. Sarah's over here kind of shaking, so excited. Charleston has moved up to second, folks, and they are making it a regatta. So looks like Georgetown has had a rough day today. So we have a whole new ball game here, folks. BC, Erica Reinecke came out on fire. But talk about your Charleston team. What did they do so well these last couple races?
Well, I think that we're really motivated after our win at Team Race. I think that, after winning that huge event, we really realized that it is so possible and that we can win this event. So, I think that also for Jack and Chloe, our B team right now, it's their last college regatta ever, and I think they really, really, want to go out with a bang. So they're just, I think, a huge part of, our team here at Charleston is that we're just really motivated. And I think after coming off, that win, it's easy to stay motivated. So looking for another one. Yeah,
well, if we could scroll down there just a little bit and see some other teams. Yale maybe has gotten closer there. Yeah, they're still kind of in it, 22 points. They are moving the marks now. That's good because I want to really talk about that. Keep scrolling. You guys can watch while I'm talking here. So we haven't covered this topic because, this is a hard one and you will experience it next year. Were there any tears of your seniors after women's?
Oh, you know what? This year, not necessarily because I think out of the starting team, there was only one senior.
Yes.
So, she was upset. I mean, anybody who it's their last college regatta, it's sad to leave.
Yeah, those emotions are so powerful, and I'm sure we're going to see some emotions from this event tonight too. Folks, these kids live with each other together, sitting shoulder to shoulder in vans, sleeping studying everything for years, it's a shock to the system to think about this. So they've had to block that out. I noticed they blocked the results out really well too, but they have to block all those emotions out, and then it's starting to come home to roost now. You know, I'm going to see last year a Stavon 4, a kid that I worked with. His nickname was the Weasel because he was just so good at just getting what he wanted in the sport. He was so good at self-reliance. We called him the Weasel, but he came up to me after last year's, after he got All-American, and he gave me a big hug, and he had tears in his eyes. And I never, sometimes you coach kids, and if you're tough on them, you never know what they really think of you. And I realized then he liked it, but those emotions are just going to hit, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely are. And I mean, as you said, we train all year round for this. A lot of these guys started when we're young. Most of these guys all started younger than 10, and then this is kind of the accumulation of their careers. A lot of these guys thus far, I mean, and granted we have some Olympians, world title holders, but for a lot of these guys, this is what they've been working towards, and then to get here and to win it's a very emotional thing.
Yeah, they all want to win, right? Yeah. Kids out there, there's nothing wrong with striving to win. Also what I suggest, and my dad taught me this at a very young age, he said, "Why are you looking at results?" And I said, interesting. And I went about 15 years where I did not look at the results. And then I cost my team a regatta because I didn't know the results at the end and I messed up the point. So I learned to be able to look at results, but really I love this. I keep going out there trying to find somebody to talk about how they're doing and everything, and it's just such a laser focus on your game plan, right? They're just, points don't matter. Points only make you choke in some cases, so they don't even hardly look. I'm really impressed with that.
I think that that's true, but I also think, the last day, when it comes down to the last few races, sometimes you just have to beat a specific team or people, and I think that sometimes it is important to know what the scores are and who you have to beat, and that, because what the scores are, that can drastically affect your game plan.
Yeah. Well, folks, we are here live stream at Gill Coed College Sailing Nationals live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. We are coming up to the A division. You can see the race committee on the left with the pink flag. The tide is slowing down just a little. I think we're going to get off a clean start here. Do we notice more boats bunching up at this end, Sarah?
Yeah, we definitely do at the boat end here. We saw it a little bit yesterday in yesterday's afternoon racing. Definitely more boat favored, and again, the bottom half of the line down towards the pin, again, is pretty vacant. You will see a lot of these boats as they go to power up, bear away, fill in those spots towards the pin because they all want a clean air start. They all want a first row start.
There you go. So you can see the flags are the starting line, the small College of Charleston flags, and if they are not perpendicular to the wind, that imaginary line, then we think that the boat end is slightly favored. There's 15 down at the pin there, doing very well, Hobart, but I think they're behind already. I think this is a slight righty. What do you think, Maura?
I think so. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but you can see it kind of looks like the boats that are up at the pin are shooting out a bit.
Yeah, what a nice start there by Tufts. Boat 6 to windward of them. 14. Now they're lifted now, folks, but if we get an oscillation off to the left, 15's going to cross the current line, get a little oscillation from the left, and we might just be surprised. He's actually just crossing. No, he's not. He's still 40 seconds away from the current line.
Looks like he was able to pinch off 18 there a little bit.
Yes, folks, so we are able to get some relief in this direction. Shallower water will create friction across the bottom, slowing the water down. Out in the channel, where we're not allowed to go, but even when we get close to the channel, deep water is going to be more mass moving and would have a greater adverse effect on you. So right now it's a sprint here. So just to windward of them, 6 still doing well there. Tufts to windward of them, 8 doing very well. I think they're trying to get to this, that's Kings Point, trying to get to a current, across the current line here. Navy, finally, I haven't called them all day. They are making very good progress upwind. Definitely tide slackening. Channel buoys not leaning either way anymore. They were top tipping into the tide there when it was at its peak an hour and a half ago. Here we go. Tufts going out there. Hobart going to go a little further. I would keep going. The current line is just right in front of him.
But again, since they did shift the course to the right a little bit, you don't want to come too far left and put all of your money on this left-hand side,
Oh my
where it
goodness,
does
you're
look
sharp.
good. but because they did shift the course, if you come too far left, actually across that current line, it can be more detrimental than helpful to you.
Yeah. So he's going to cross there, though. He's got 13 crossed. He's got Young Eyes. What is that, 18?
Yeah, 18, I believe.
Man, it makes me feel better when I can't read the yellow ones either.
Yeah, the yellow is very difficult to read. They look great on the water, but
Maybe that's
definitely make it
16.
difficult for us.
Oh, that's right. Fordham had a good start up there. Okay, 15. Oh, boy, this is going to be great. It looks like they're on a huge current line outside there. There's the B team for Navy, A team for Navy, Patrick Snow. You see how flat they're sailing now to keep their helm neutral? So if he let go of the tiller right now, the boat essentially would be going straight if the sails are just right, if one sail's not tighter than the other. That's a real balancing act that you learn. A lot of you guys learn that stuff naturally just by sailing a lot, and you don't even know you're doing it. Balancing the helm with heel and balancing the helm with proper balance between the main and the jib. Okay, that's a precarious position for 8 there. They're going to go ahead and try to send it in there. We've seen everybody make it. We've seen everybody make that move. And now they're just going to shoot the mark and round second. Kings Point, our military, doing very well. Oh, let's talk about that. This morning we were able to meet with Bill. And Bill, what was Bill's last name? Just a wonderful, wonderful man. And I'm going to tell the story about him here. Bill Walkeson. Yeah, and we'll be going back to the B's while I talk about that. But Bill actually landed planes on this aircraft carrier in World War II, folks. 95 years old, sharp as a tack. I asked him if he wanted to go sailing. You know, I could have taught him sailing in about 5 minutes, man. It was wonderful to hear these stories. Okay, look at that beautiful shot here at the Gill Coed North Americans, the B Division sailing FJs today. Down there at the pin. 13's okay. We'll just see what, it seems to be working out okay. And who's 13? GW. There you go. Okay, we'll see how that pounds out again. Again, it's a little bit more of a sprint here. Who won that beat on the 8? Which side? Which side?
Oh,
was it even?
I think the left may have gotten it.
Okay, yeah. So today it hasn't been easy, It's been pretty even, actually. If you can call this a steady day in Charleston, I think it's actually been relatively even, with little differences based on that moment. What shift happened that moment? We saw one good westerly there during one race, and the rest of the time, it's been pretty even. In a flooding tide, the book would say, don't get out there towards the channel, but they seem to be coming out of there okay, don't they?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Oh, look at that. Is that Miranda there? Yeah, George Washington B Division there. Excellent. So you got Kai Forseke there. Miranda, again, we talked about her, a junior, rising senior who skippered the women's and is now crewing, pretty much crewing entirely for the Coed. 13's doing great, guys. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say 13's winning. Easily crossing the guys to windward. I know it might look like it to you out there. I don't like sailing with people who don't think we're crossing when we're in those positions. And if I was a crew right now, I'd be saying tack now.
Oh, and look what they just did.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're crossing easily. Sometimes that's what I love about sailing Etchells and those sharp-nosed boats like that is you look over your shoulder like somebody says, oh, we're not crossing, and you just turn the boat. They tack through 65 degrees and you just cross them. So the left's winning for sure, folks. I tell you, man, if I was racing, I would be starting maybe a third from the boat with a big lane and just go. And I might pay for that 1 or 2 races, but if I can string enough first, seconds, thirds, fourths by doing this, then I can average out my 14th, 15th from trying one thing too much. Yes, look at this. Right behind them in boat 6 is Tufts again. They had another good start, it looks like. They win my starting award today. Dartmouth in 11. Also Dartmouth. Man, they must be right there. Let's see what the full scores are showing right now. So, yes, Dartmouth is still in third. Only 3 points out of second. Only 5 points between them and Georgetown behind. What boat is Georgetown in, folks?
2.
Boat 2, or we have 2 on the screen out there. They look like they're going to come in here 2, 4, 6. I think they're making a mark. I think they're coming in 7th. Oh no, they are not making a mark. So we're going to call a 10th or so for Georgetown here. Dartmouth in 11 is just gapping here out. What do they feed that kid, man? He's in the lead now. He literally sailed just straight behind.
He's going to have to take 13.
Okay, good call, Sarah. Yeah.
So rounding in second there.
Still, they were 3 boat lengths behind 40 seconds ago, and now they're half a boat length behind. Yeah, looking like Georgetown having to duck some boats there. So coming around in the B division here at the Gill Coed College Sailing National Championships, we're wrapping this thing up. They're going to keep racing a long time, another couple hours. What time is it now? 3 o'clock now. And they're going to, you know, they can keep racing, folks. They can start, as long as they can get the rotation done before 5 o'clock, I believe they can keep racing. So I would stick around with here all day. Get off work out there on the West Coast as soon as you can and get your friends. And try to get your friends watching this at the yacht clubs. If you're out here on the East Coast, get it hooked up right away in your dorm rooms and all that. Out west, I guess you got to keep working a little while longer. Kids are getting out of school soon, so cue this up for your kids, parents, if you're listening. A lot to be learned here. So you do see the A division going up. What race are we in, ladies?
13, I want to say. Okay.
Yes, so that is the race 13A going upwind, right to left. B going downwind.
Is your team 100%? If your team achieves 100% U.S. Sailing membership, get ready to rock free 100% U.S. Sailing socks in your school's colors. Contact membership at ussailing.org and they will help your team make it happen.
Looks like we just rounded the offset here. We have a lot of the fleet starting to come back down. Looks like there's a pretty big lead. Or is that boat 8 in the front? Yes, and who's in 8? Kings Point. They are having a great race.
That is just awesome. So, I think we are looking at
Yeah, Kings Point definitely kind of legging out that top group. Very kind of stretched apart from each other.
Yeah, we got Charles Lomax sailing there for Kings Point, first in the ACC championship. Maybe that's a team first in the ACC. And they did win their fall conference. That was their highlight of the season there. That is a pretty big lead. I guess there must be still, because he rounded neck and neck, right?
I think pretty close.
Okay.
I think he had a little bit of distance, but he's really gapping now.
And the race for second, third, and fourth is really close right now in this A division race.
Yep, so each fleet's looking at each other right now, right? Trying to just figure out what phase the wind's in.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a tiny starboard lift maybe for the boats coming back upwind through your screen. So what that means is starboard lift, maybe the left gate is a tiny bit further upwind. There you go, Kings Point Charles Lomax deserves some credit. He is a junior. Kings Point not here, not at the Nationals last year. And I believe they were one of the unranked teams that qualified as well.
Always nice when you see a team that isn't necessarily always on top doing well.
Yeah, and I think that's just going to happen more and more as you expose some of these smaller teams to this excitement. You know, again, 36 teams coming to all the women's, and then 36 teams coming to the co-eds. You know, all these other teams getting experience, they get a picture of what it takes at the event. And maybe they incorporate that into their practices. Their coaches incorporate it into each individualization. There you go. Charles Lomax crossing the finish line in first. Boat 8, great job, Kings Point. just very close, pretty close behind. Boat 12, Yale, having a good race there. Ian Barrows coming on a little bit strong there. Where's our Charleston? There's Navy in 3.
This might be Charleston right there, getting the 3rd.
Yeah! There we go. Oh, they're holding on, everybody. This is remarkable. You know, the foul trophy gets awarded at the end of the day here, folks, and that is for the team that has the best overall performance in every discipline. So it includes the single-handed nationals, the match racing nationals, which was won by Georgetown, and it includes the women's nationals, team racing nationals, and this event. So that is probably up for grabs still. I think there's just such a mix, you know, with BC doing well in the single-handeds and Georgetown good, and you know, so it'll be interesting to see later on, folks, on Facebook Live. You are going to be able to see all of those awards given out. I don't know if they give the foul tonight, but maybe they do. So B Division, Gill gear, folks. You want to be getting the Gill gear for your kids. Make sure the kids are having fun. If they're out there getting cold all the time on these long 4-hour days, they're a 9-year-old, make sure you go to gillna.com and start getting the Gill. It's really about educating the parents, you know, about understanding the sport of sailing. A lot of people get into the sport not understanding equipment, and make sure you got your kid, you know, covered and equipped and all up there. Great. Boat 13 there. You can see the numbers on their sails there, and boat 13 there.
Looks like 13 is George Washington.
GW.
Having a good race, and then up there, Dartmouth in 11, and what else is that in 4? It looks like we have Roger Williams.
They're definitely having a good day. They were doing really well yesterday towards the end of the day. I think they got a bullet yesterday afternoon, and they're clearly taking this momentum into today.
You know, what I think we're seeing is, believe it or not, even though we got started late, it's been a relatively steady Charleston day, hasn't it? And you're starting to see the kids that their natural style and their skill is matching the conditions, so you're seeing a lot of the same people now. Maybe not such diverse finishes. And other people who are moving back in the fleet based on yesterday, because yesterday was a little different day.
It's funny, again in this race we are seeing another big gap by the boat that's in first. GW really having a solid race.
Yep, so I think the results are updated through race 13A already, folks. So they are just keeping it on here all together. Amazingly close here. So Dartmouth having another good race, correct? So Chris Williford is definitely going to be holding on to that first place with Sophie Kerr and Nathaniel Greason. I wonder who's in right now. Looks like Jack Cusick's going to hold on to second in the B division.
Amazing. Well, that's exciting because right now Charleston is only 3 points behind BC and, you know, fighting for first. So
looks like Nick Baird had a good race there. He's going to hold on to third in that setup. Nick Baird was a first team all-conference skipper this year in NISA. He got third at the single-handed nationals this year. He was also a 2016 All-American. Nick Baird interviewed his father yesterday, America's Cup champion 2003. Ed Baird, his father, was nice enough to interview. I really, you know, I'm so hyper and he's just so calm. It's just like amazing to you know, we're quite different. So we are about, what, 1 minute maybe from the finish line in this B race. Again, Gill is the B division, the Gill Sails. And who do we got there? Who's 11? What place are they in?
11 is Dartmouth.
Yep, so they are going to hang in there.
Looking good.
Great shot. George Washington in 13 there. And they are going to be coming to the finish very soon. You can see the gate buoys behind him. You can see the judges there. Thank you, Judge Steve Wrigley has been the head judge for this event, a local who works here a lot, probably works a lot of events. Just amazing guy. And, you know, thank you, judges. We had a lot of judges for team racing. There's 11. And in 4, crossing the line there, Roger Williams. 6, Tufts, again, doing well. 15, excellent, Bobart and William Smith. Yes, we do want to continue to recognize people who have just supported all of the sailing here at College of Charleston. So we are here waiting for race 14 in each division. U.S. Sailing is proud to sponsor the Roger H. Hobbs Sportsmanship Award this year. The Hobbs Trophy is awarded annually to the Sportsman of the Year. The trophy honors Robert Hobbs, MIT 1964, past Executive Vice President of ICSA, past President of U.S. Sailing 1992 to 1994, and former chair of the U.S. Sailing Olympic Committee. The trophy will be presented by U.S. Sailing Board member Martine Zurinskas during the Coed Awards ceremony this afternoon. And yes, you know, we want to really recognize, speaking of judges, we want to recognize a couple of people that are instrumental here. George Stewart Stovey Brown, if you happen to be listening, you know, he pretty much is responsible for creating the umpire system. And he was recently awarded a Lifetime Service Award and was inducted into the ICSA Hall of Fame. I got to talk to some people. Adam Werblow, he kept me for about 6 minutes explaining what this man has meant. So obviously they must be very close. It was a long conversation there. And this guy really helped start the umpiring system, especially for team racing, because he went to a team racing regatta many years ago, and they had like 40 protests. So he said, we got to change this. And Stovey Brown, if you're out there, thank you for your service and congratulations on your service award. And then Rob Overton from San Francisco. This guy has been flying cross country. Thank you, Rob, for your service, flying cross country from San Francisco to be a judge at all these events, and you're still doing it. It's just wonderful here. And yeah, so I was talking about Bill Watkinson here, speaking about service. We are going to send it to over to some conversation with him. We caught up with him out here, so you get to hear some stories from Bill Watkinson. He landed aircraft on the USS Yorktown in World War II.
In 1945, I was first a ferry pilot in the Navy, and then they only keep you at that job for 1 year, and then they put me on a carrier. They made a night fighter out of me and put me on the carrier in the last two air groups that were here. Air Group 9, I was a replacement, and on Air Group 88, which was the last air group that was on the Yorktown during World War II. I got to see they didn't have an awful lot of work at night. The Japanese put their airplanes on the ground waiting for kamikaze time at the end of the war. So we didn't have very much. I didn't have very much to do at night. However, when the peace treaty was signed, and they were signing the treaty on the Yorktown, my job was to fly up and down the coast right next to them to make sure all the major artillery of the Japanese was pointed to the ground and no one was anywhere near those guns, or I was to waste them.
You were to enforce the fact that the World War II was ending on the Yorktown. Wow.
And I have I got to see the flying of 2,000 or 3,000 airplanes over the Missouri when the treaty was signed. I was down about 500 feet, and these other guys were up around 15,000 something, 14,000, something like that. It was and it's on. I gave the carrier a movie I have. It was one of the guys was in the movie business, one of the pilots, and he took a gun camera and he shot all of his work during the war on his gun camera and put it into a film, and it's here. It's called The Return of the Fighting Lady. If you get a chance, you ought to see it.
So what do you do here on the Yorktown now? And wait, how old are you, Bill?
I'm very young. I'm 95.
95 years young. And here we are sitting in front of, is this the airplane that you were on?
This is like the one I flew on the Yorktown. I have flown every airplane that has a propeller on it, except the AD. That wasn't left. That wasn't built at that time. My first job in the Navy flying was as a ferry pilot from New York, and I got to fly all the airplanes that were built. I saw Charles Lindbergh, who was a test pilot on that airplane. Something that's not given, but he was. I met him flying it one day.
What was your favorite airplane that you got to fly?
I have to ask you for what reason.
Ooh, that's a good one.
If I wanted to carry a big load, I wanted the torpedo bomber. If I wanted to fly comfortably for a long flight, I wanted the dive bomber. If I wanted to have fun, I wanted number 15 down there, that little airplane, little F-4F. If I wanted to go to war and get hit, I wanted a Hellcat. If I wanted to fly fast and fly high, I wanted the Corsair. So these airplanes, all airplanes, are built for a purpose. And when you say, what's your favorite? Well, to do what? If I wanted to have a ball, I loved that number 15 down there. That was the first fighter they had. But when the General Motors got a hold of the dies to make that, they put a different engine in it. Instead of a 14-cylinder engine, they put a 9-cylinder engine. They only lost about 5 or 10 horsepower, but they also lost over 2,000 pounds with the engine. It was smaller. And I flew under every bridge in New York City with that airplane. It was a lot of fun.
So, Bill, you're here sitting on the Yorktown. Are you a volunteer sitting here?
Yes. I love the Yorktown. I loved its purpose, which is education for kids. When every day they have school buses out there and the kids are getting a tour on the Yorktown, they're learning something that you don't get out of a book. That's what you people are doing here. You're learning history.
It's been great to be part of it all week. We've been setting up our TV studio here, and we're just so grateful to be here on the Yorktown. And thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us about what you've done. And we thank you for your service, and thanks for your time today.
It was good to meet you all. Good luck.
Wow. So I'm going to have to quote Wayne's World over here. Wayne on Wayne's Worth. Hey, Bill, I know you're not listening here, but man, we are not worthy. That is just so incredible. And, it's been such a great week here, Memorial Day week. We're so lucky to sit on this ship and realize that this ship has, defended our country. And I'm getting chills right now. My dad was in the military 30 years. That's why I became a sailor. They gave me a boat at the Navy Sailing Club when I was like 11, said, go. And I just went. So we are on the A Division. What'd you say? Olé. The UC Santa Barbara Gauchos have taken the lead in a race. They started the day in last. Do you know these guys? Any interaction with these guys?
No, unfortunately not. I've just always admired their pennies on the back that say Olé, and I think it's a lot of fun to say.
Yeah, Santa Barbara. If you guys can, travel to Santa Barbara. It's just beautiful. Yep, we got the B Division with the Gills coming upwind through the lane there. And so we are switching to the B Division here. That's Sterling Hankin right there from the Gauchos, right there in boat 10. That's a great chance. He sailed for Coronado High, so I'm kind of biased towards those kids.
So you see A Division on your screen right now, headed downwind. They're going to be rounding this leeward gate pretty soon, heading back up to the B here. And we're hopefully starting to feel somewhat of a slack tide here, which means that this fleet is rounding a lot more condensed, and the entire playing field is going to start to become more even. I think we saw it's switching at about 3:50 today, and in Charleston sometimes it does tend to switch a little bit later, so we'll see how that definitely plays into the racing.
Yeah, so Moira, we've got Charleston only trailing by how many points now?
11.
And what boat numbers are we looking here to?
16.
16, and then who's winning?
Boston College is currently winning. You can look for them right now in boat 7. It looks like they're not having as great of a race as they had going down there in the other fleet, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out up here.
Yes.
Those who played the left, looks like they're coming in on this port ley line almost.
Yeah, boat 18 gonna be in the lead there. Fordham's gonna round first. I'm sorry, that's 16.
Cougars.
Yes, the Cougars.
Hopefully this will
there.
be able to catch up some of the point gap.
And there you go, folks, the sail numbers again up on the graphic. Follow your team. Make sure you're punching. We are racing for a while longer, another hour and a half, ladies and gentlemen. After that, Facebook Live, and see your teams there coming around. You know, ladies, I was really excited to work with you yesterday, and you're doing a really great job. So
Thank you.
maybe don't do too good a job when I leave. I don't want you taking my job away from me. And thank you to Deegan Media. But I do have 3 young daughters at home. I have a wife who is a principal of a very hardworking principal of a very strong school there. And I am going to be flying home just in a little while. And so I am going to be turning this over in just a few minutes. And I think people will probably be happy to hear your energetic voices. These 2 are glowing over here, ladies and gentlemen. They are on the team that still has a chance to win. You know, if you go to the results at collegesailing.org, you are going to find that there are still 4 teams still in the hunt. And Charleston has turned it on today. Boston College has been so darn stubborn. So let's just see if we can see another lead change. I think Charleston's leading this B division race straight down the bay. How are they doing? Let's look for them in that fleet going upwind. How are they doing, the 2 BC and Charleston teams?
I've been trying to find them out there, and again, they have these yellow sails. I think they're just about to pop out of the B division going downwind. Hopefully that's them first, starboard tack.
They are not laying the weather mark there, ladies and gentlemen, yet. But I think Charleston is doing well in this race.
Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good to be rounding first right now, which is what Laura and I want to be hearing.
Oh, there we are, 16.
Yeah, we're a little bit biased, but...
So we just have to ask ICSA to take a colored pen and color in those yellow numbers into something.
Yeah, they're definitely helpful for the team racing when the numbers aren't as important, just the colors are, but it definitely makes it more difficult for fleet racing.
Yes.
You see there,
Charleston
tacking about to round.
Charleston making a run for the Fowl Trophy here, folks. You know, after winning Team Racing Nationals, they, you know, depending on how they did in the match racing and the single-handed, this is really coming down to be exciting. Wow, that's going to be hard to catch there.
Yeah, I think we rounding the offset before the second place boat, who I'm not sure who's in 14 right now, was even around that first windward mark, so that was huge for us.
14 is Boston University, the Terriers. They are having another great race.
Well, folks, looks like my plane's on time back to San Diego, so good luck, ladies. Just have fun with this. Thank you to everybody for listening, and thank you to Granite River Studios, Deegan Media, U.S. Sailing, everybody for having me. I really hope that I get a chance to come back next year. I've really enjoyed it the last couple of years, and you know, I'm really happy to turn it over to you. You're in good hands here. We got some, you know, you can't see their auras, but I can feel them, and I'm really excited you get to call this last hour and a half. Stick around, folks. Thanks again. I'm gonna bail out of here and let you guys take it over.
Thank you, John.
Yes, and kick butt next year. Take care of my Nikki in Paris and my new boy PJ. We got PJ Eaton joining you from Coronado High next year. You are gonna love PJ. He is a special kid. One of my best, most hardworking kids. Have a great time.
Awesome.
Thank you again, John.
All right, so it looks like while John takes off, we have the B division rounding this leeward gate. Most of the leaders from that race actually kind of split. Half went around the port gate, half went around the starboard gate. So we'll see how that plays off.
It's that 5 there, punched out, looking pretty good. Number 5, that is South Florida, USF. They were having a good day today.
And they're going to start mixing pretty soon with the A division and the 420s headed downwind. You're going to start seeing them merge together, seeing boat 5 tack there, trying to give a loose cover to the field right now.
Downwind of that A division, Stefano is a pretty big lead. It'll be interesting to see how, it works out duking it out between Charleston and Boston College. I know those are probably my 2 favorite college teams. I'm so lucky to have so many amazing friends at Boston College. So we'll see. A lot of them watching right now. And now as we're looking back on the A division, number 3 is really punched out there. And that's Navy. Navy's having another good race. Be interesting to see how they end up in the results.
So you see there on your screen your top 3 boats. They're coming in a leeward mark. We'll see which way the Cougars decide to go. Looks like Stefano's going to decide to go around the right. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams decides to go around the left. They don't always want to necessarily follow each other around. Yeah, you see that second place boat going around the port gate. They don't want to follow their leader around the gate. You're not going to beat them by following them.
Let's see, Sarah, who else is doing well in this race? It looks like 18 and 17, and in 17 that is Stanford, and in 18 we have the Fordham Rams. I know that the Rams were here training in Charleston over spring break. I'm also lucky to have a couple of friends on that team, and I know that they were really excited. I know their women's team they weren't doing as well at women's, but it looks like they're able to be doing really, really well right now here at Coeds. 16 again, there's the Cougars. Grace McCarthy is an amazing crew. She's crewing for Stefano there. She just finished her junior year. She's going into her senior year. She's from California, San Diego. She's been a great addition to our team, a great leader, and, very inspiring to all the other crews. Looks like up there at the top of the B division. Is that B? Yep, B division.
B division there.
5 and 3. 5 we have. In 3 that's Navy again, doing very well. And in 5, South Florida.
South Florida yesterday had a really good day. Today, obviously having a good day this race, rounding pretty well. They were kind of my underdogs for the regatta. I think they were also one of those unranked teams coming into the event. So it's great that they're doing so well. For their Roger Williams, we talked about them earlier, always been a very strong team, so good to see them doing well in this regatta. And yesterday they did really well.
And as part of the ICSA, it's good to see people in our conference that are doing well. I've traveled down to USF a couple of times for different events, and I know Allison has always been, very nice and welcoming to all the teams, so it's good to see them doing well here. In 11, Dartmouth. We'll see what they do down on this downwind.
Dartmouth rounding deep. They're not sitting in first right now. I want to say they're in third right now, right behind College of Charleston and BC. Not having a great race, so curious to see what had happened to them. So we'll definitely keep an eye on them in this next 2 legs to see if they're able to kind of claw back and kind of gain some boats back.
Poor Georgetown. They really started out the day with the win, and they've just been dropping down a little bit. Still top 5, which is a huge accomplishment, but I'm sure their team's a little sad to see that they've dropped.
So on your screen now, you're seeing the A division finish, College Charleston finishing first, and that's going to be boat 18.
Fordham Rams.
Fordham Rams finishing second, boat 15, which is Hobart William Smith finishing third. So a really great race for Hobart.
That is one of my best friends who's crewing for Hobart, Anna Flaherty. I've grown up sailing with her my whole life, and it's so great to be able to, sail against somebody in Opties and still be competing against them when you're in your 20s and in college. I think that's something that is so unique about the sport of sailing, and all of my non-sailing friends who I go to college with, they're all jealous that, it really is that the whole sailing community seems to know each other in one way or another. So it's great to be able to stay here in Charleston and have so many of my lifelong friends being here joining me.
Yeah, sailing is definitely a lifelong sport. As Maura said, we're a very close community. So as the A fleet goes into rotate, we're going to stick with the B fleet and the FJs coming down to their leeward mark right now. I unfortunately can't see that sail number to who rounded first, but they are about 4 or 5 boat lengths from the leeward gate, and we'll see which way they decide to round. And again, as Maura and I have both mentioned in the last couple of races, we've seen that first boats have had quite a large lead going around and headed downwind. And unlike the other races, they're going to decide to go around the port gate instead of the starboard gate, which most leaders and the passengers have decided to go around the right. So we'll see maybe if they're seeing something that the rest of the fleet isn't seeing yet, because that second place boat is going around that right. And it looks like
boat 3 right here, Navy.
USF was the one who rounded first.
Right, they're in first, but
USF.
Navy just rounded the starboard gate and they are in second.
So Navy and USF having great races right now. I think USF looks really good and they have good coverage on the fleet right now. They're going up to a finish right now. So USF's main point and main goal right now is their crew is just going to want to paint a picture for their skipper. And as they're sailing, they just want to make sure that they're giving coverage to the fleet. They don't want to commit themselves to one side, want to stay a little conservative, leave their options open. Unless they see something that they feel is going to be a super strong side. So you see USF and Navy on your screen there.
Sarah, what do you think it means to these teams that haven't necessarily been doing, as great to be in the 1 or in the 2 and having really great races? Do you think that pumps them up and fires them up to have a strong end to the regatta?
It definitely does. It can also be really nerve-wracking. These guys, they're all amazing sailors, so they handle their nerves really well. USF tacking there, which is, I think, a very smart decision. But for these teams, they're used to the spotlight. Getting here is a really difficult thing, and staying here is also very difficult. So at this point, it's just trying not to do too many maneuvers. You don't want to put in too many tacks, because at the end of the day, tacks can be slow. You just want to sail smart, and you don't want to overthink anything. And even for your Olympian sailors here, you're going to get nervous, and you're going to want to try to overthink things if you're doing really well. And the most important thing is just keep it simple.
And Sarah, I have a very exciting update. I just refreshed the results, and it looks like the Cougars have slid into first.
Oh my gosh.
They are, looks like 3 points ahead of BC, so everything is still super close, super tight, but it's exciting to see that the Cougars are sliding into first. It would be huge for our team to, take away 2 out of the 3 championships.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but I've got a massive smile on my face. I'm one of the people who gets really nervous if we start doing well. So I'm going to try to contain my excitement. I'm also trying not to focus on too much. I want to be able to give you guys as much unbiased opinion as possible right now. So you see there, we've definitely had a nice increase in the breeze. You see both skipper and crew out hiking right now. It's great that we were able to get this southerly that came in, because this morning there was absolutely no wind. We actually had a team blow up a pool floaty and jump in the water. I think they went out this morning when they realized they're going to be postponed for a majority of the morning. Bought a pool floaty and jumped in the water.
Boat 5 here. Who are we looking at?
USF. Huge win for USF. I believe that's Ty Baird. So his brother, Nick Baird, who we were just talking about, who sails
for Yale.
For Yale, yes. So Ed Baird, his parents are here. So Nick and Ty Baird. It's a great win for USF. Congrats to Ty on that.
How nice that there's siblings. There's so many siblings in college sailing, and to be able to compete and sail against your siblings is amazing.
And it looks like Navy's going to come in second. And just to let you know, USF finished with a major lead in that. Navy is just finishing right now in the second position. So they had a huge gap going in there. They sailed that last upwind beat beautifully.
Followed by number 1, Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, awesome. All female boat there, which is huge.
You love to see all girls doing so well. They are killing it. They are crushing the voice, and that's the best.
Yeah, BC coming in 4th, Cougars coming in 5th. So B division is going to go in and rotate right now. A division is just starting to head out onto the water. Still some boats on the rotation dock. So B division will go in and we'll get some more starts headed off pretty soon. So we want to thank US Sailing for powering this live stream. Being away from where we're hosting the event in the past, it's always nice to be able to see the event as much as possible. So having this live stream by US Sailing is huge.
Very huge. I know, especially for the parents who, haven't been able to come out here, or any sailors or anybody who's interested in watching. I know my family is at home watching, so shout out to them and all my friends. And I'm happy that you guys are all able to, be here in spirit and following along. It's exciting. All the alum. I've been getting, Catherine Downey was texting me yesterday that she was watching. She graduated from BC last year. An all-American, great crew. So it's just good to know that if you can't be here physically, you can still be here.
Definitely.
Welcome back, everybody, to the live stream powered by U.S. Sailing, the best. I'm Maura.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are here to, bring you guys that live footage. So coming back, reflecting on the past 2 races, it is so exciting right now to be here. There is only 1 point in between Charleston and BC for the title of the Coed National Championship.
Yes, this is really exciting. I think we're going to try to get the results pulled up on your screen right now so you guys can see what we're talking about. But yes, College of Charleston Cougars in first right now, followed by BC, 1 point away. So we're going to try to hopefully get these pulled up, but if not, so on your screen right now, you're seeing the A fleet down to about, I think, minute and a half, I believe. And we're on race 15 right now, race 15A.
Here we have everybody lining up for the starting sequence. It looks like it's a little bit more, middle. There's no, or I guess there's a couple people, one boat there at near the pin, but.
Yeah, actually this race looking much more even across the starting line, but just because they're more even across the starting line doesn't necessarily mean that one side of the line is more favored than the other. People could just be going to where there's an open spot, because the biggest thing about a start is getting a lane and getting clean air. So you just saw that big rock, the flat, and so that is go for them. Race 15A is off.
Race 15A. It looks like a couple of those boats that were down there by, the boat end have really shot out. Also, though, this boat on the end near the pin. I think that right now it kind of, like Sarah was saying, getting clean air and really being able to hold your lane.
I think we had boat 13, which was BU. I think they've actually been over. So the Terriers, I think, were over in that race and had to go back. And then they broke off right.
You're looking at boat 2 right there. Boat 2 is Coast Guard Bears. Love to see that girl boat out there killing it. And right behind them in 6 is South Florida.
So I have to say the right is kind of looking nice for this race right now. Again, it's 3:50 right now, so in theory the tide should be switching right now. On your screen, Brown University.
I love Brown. Growing up, a lot of my 420 coaches, they all went to Brown. Colin Smith and Luke Adams, they were great coaches to me, and it's exciting to see their team up there doing well.
Yep, so just to give you reference, boat 10 is the farthest boat left on the course, and they're going to tack out as we speak, tacking on your right-hand side, crossing these boats. We'll see how they play off along the right once some of those most right boats tack over. Coast Guard again there, they're tacking. Last ones to tack over onto port.
Looks like we have 12 as one of the leaders, as well as another one of those yellow boats up there that's kind of hard to see. Who do we have in boat 12?
Dartmouth.
Big Green in the green boat.
I definitely think this left paid off again. Dartmouth, Coast Guard, and USF all looking like they're going to cross the boats that went out to the right, but we'll definitely keep looking at that to see who's going to cross. All right, so we have results up on your screen now. So you see Charleston with 194 points, followed 1 point behind by Boston College Eagles, then Dartmouth with 209. Top 3 very, very close. Yale was able to beat Georgetown in the last couple of races, getting bumped up to 4th. They were in 5th for the first couple races of the day. So Georgetown now in 5th, who were leading going into today. So just goes to show you, I'm having an off there. They're just not quite clicking out on the water.
Coast Guard's really having a great race out there in 2, leading the pack.
Yeah, Coast Guard looks really good right now.
Right now you're looking at, let's see, boat 7, and that is Kings Point. It's 14 right there with them. 14 is George Washington. So, they're stepping back a couple places from how they were doing in their last race when That was Miranda, and I'm not sure who she was sailing with, but they had that bullet that they got by such a mile. They were so far ahead, and now it looks like they're a bit further back in the fleet. Looks like boat 7 is going to, round. They're looking ahead by quite a bit, and in boat 7 is Kings Point.
Yes, it looks like KP is going to be rounding in first. So they were one of the boats that I believe, did they go right off the starting line there? I don't remember, but definitely rounding very well right now. Oh, it looks like the Coast Guard Academy in boat 2. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, who's in? I think I was actually right with that. Yeah, the Coast Guard Academy there had to do a spin. They must have fouled somebody, either that or they just weren't able to find a spot to go around that top mark. Same with boat 11 as well, having to go back to find their lane to come around that top mark.
Stefano for the Cougars, followed by 3 and 10. 2, there's Coast Guard coming back after their spin.
Followed directly behind by the Naval Academy as well.
Navy's been moving up today. It looks like they're having a much better day today than they had yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see if, hopefully for them, they can move up a couple of spots in the rankings.
So you see all these guys going downwind, the wing on wing. In these boats, the fastest going downwind, their fastest point of sail is going wing on wing because they have the most sail area.
17 looks good. That's the Fordham Rams. It must be nice for, all of these teams coming from up north to be here in Charleston, where I know for me, I'm from up north. I'm from Boston area. And when I got to compete in other events, it was always really great to go somewhere warm, change it up.
All right, so it looks like we're going to bring you guys to the 15B start. So B division, race 15. I think that was 10 seconds there.
20.
Oh, sorry, 20. And actually, most of the fleet, the boat's looking pretty open. A lot of the fleet down at the pin, which we haven't seen much of at all over the last 2 days, which gives some indication that they like the boat side of things. You see Georgetown tacking right there onto port, trying to find their hole. Looks like they're going to be able to find one.
17 Fordham, there they are again, shooting out there at the pin.
Yeah, Fordham having a nice start. A lot of people over. You can see on the right-hand side of your screen, a lot of boats coming back down. Looks like almost everyone that was at the boat was over and had to go back. I think there were 3 or 4 boats called there.
You can see Georgetown tacking there. And then let's see, in 4, right behind Fordham, we have the Naval Academy.
We love calling out the Naval Academy, Kings Point Merchant Marine, Roger Williams, USF, all these schools that are traditionally really great schools, and we're able to make it here. And then we have those top 4 schools that have been really battling it out all season long.
Right, so you have in 17 Fordham, and 4 the Naval Academy, and in 16 is Hobart. That's what you're looking at on your screen right now.
And good for Hobart. I mean, Hobart sails on a lake. They're not used to this current. Granted, they travel a lot. To come to current. Travel a lot of venues that have current, but don't experience Charleston current as much as they probably would have hoped coming into this event.
You can see the crew is looking over her shoulder, trying to let her skipper know where the pressure is, turning back around, always, communicating with him what's going on around them. She should probably, make sure that he knows where the ley lines are. They still have a far while till they get to the mark, so she's basically just looking at, the boats around them and how they look coming back now that they're headed back towards the fleet.
That right side, though, boat 11, which went all the way out to the right, is crossing the fleet by a lot. Actually, they look really good out there.
Right now, you're looking at the A coming back down.
Yep, they had just rounded their leeward gate, headed back upwind. Fleets are really close together, so it'll be interesting to see how this top mark plays out if these guys start kind of coming together.
Yeah, you can see kind of on your screen right now that yellow and that red boat. Those boats are in, they are in the same fleet, but it's hard to tell. Those red sails look a lot like the Gill ones.
Yeah, they're very close together, though, these two fleets. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some overlap of the A fleet getting into the B division a little bit. Yeah, so the Z420s, they are faster out on the water. So again, they're going to be catching up pretty quickly to the B division. You actually see it already with boats 12 and 7 all the way on the right-hand side of y'all's screen. You can see that boat 7, and I think that's boat 17, have already kind of dug into this B division.
Especially with the Z420s, you know, catching up. As soon as the breeze does start to pick up a little bit, those boats are able to get on a plane so much easier and quicker, and you know, they move through the breeze much better than the FJs. So that's why you're starting to see the catch up and the overlap here. And there's more opportunity for jib play almost, because you do have the factor of the windward sheet with the Z420s, which you don't have with the FJs.
Absolutely. So on your screen there, the Yale Bulldogs in boat 11, very stretched out. You can't necessarily tell from this vantage point, but from up here on the Yorktown, they have a considerable sized lead coming into this top mark, which is great for them. We haven't been calling them in that number 1 position as much as we have in the past week or so. So definitely they're having a good race.
I know Danielle Richards is watching. We are so happy that she can be here with us watching, and you know, we wish her a quick recovery and hope that she's doing well.
It gets a little difficult for us to tell which fleet is which right now, because they're all kind of coming together, and definitely for you guys on the screen as well. So we're going to do our best to help distinguish who is who on these. So Yale there, just tacking around that top mark, coming around cleanly, going to that offset, and they're going to bear away from there. Definitely going to be coming around this offset way before the next boat comes around the top mark.
And 15 right behind them, it looks like that's the Charleston Cougars. And then in 16, we have Hobart.
Another great race for Hobart.
And in 17, right behind them, is Fordham.
Always love to see the Cougars coming out there.
I know. Especially with, you know, being so close to BC, it's nice to catch a couple of points.
Yeah. So for this B division coming around, you see there, the A division is going to be coming in super close to where the B division is coming around that offset. So both fleets have to be really cautious of fouling people here as the two fleets are colliding.
Going to be very, very tight downwind. It's going to be hard. You know, there's so many boats on the downwind, and it's going to be hard to try to find clean air. So, you know, whoever's, you know, Ian Barros in A, he is going to have a huge advantage by having that gap and really having a lot of clean air. As you can see, the markup here is getting super congested, so it's going to be hard. There's Stefano for the Cougars, and then followed, there's 7 there, and 12.
Yeah, Kings Point rounded, I believe, first, ahead of some of the B division guys for the A division. So that was Kings Point, I believe, who rounded first there. So that was boat 7 that Kings Point is in. So now you have the majority of the A division coming around the mark. So there you see B and A division going downwind. So to kind of give you guys an idea of what you're looking for to help distinguish these two fleets, the FJ is much thinner and their bow is much pointier, and the red Gill sail, so all red, say Gill, that means it's an FJ, a little narrower through the boat, and the the Z420s are a little bit wider, a little more flat bottomed, and they have the multicolored sail. So there you see all of the 3 B division boats. I believe, I want to say that is...
There's 15 right there.
Yes, that's your 2, 3, 4 positions.
That's the Cougars, Jack Cusick.
Yes. Now these guys are doing W4s, I believe, or what these guys are running, because this is 15. First race for this rotation, excuse me. A division there, all running downwind, wing on wing.
Yale has such a huge lead. You guys can't even see on your screen, but...
Boat 7 there, Kings Point, who I believe are your leaders for A division for this race right now. Followed pretty closely by boat 17.
Fordham Rams.
Yeah, Fordham having an amazing last 2 races.
You can see here the skipper keep trying to pop that jib, get some wind flowing, and there you go, 17 just jibed out behind them. They're reaching. Here we go, the wing on wing. Definitely the fastest position downwind, and you can see the crew right there. She's up close, trying to get her weight as far forward as possible in order to dig in that bow and lift the stern out of the water.
Absolutely. So A division is finishing right now, so we're going to stick with them, while B division is still going to be headed back upwind to do 2 more legs. So A division finishing right now. Kings Point, boat 7, having a nice lead over the second place boat right now. They're going to be finishing in 10 seconds or so. So awesome win for KP. See you jibing there.
KP, I know that their coach Tierney, she's an alum of the program here at the college. Great sailor and a great coach, and it looks like, you know, what she's doing up there is really paying off.
So second place, Fordham Rams coming in. Awesome race for them. Followed closely by, I think, boat 2 is going to get it. Coast Guard. So Coast Guard coming in, which is awesome. They clearly made some boats up after their first Woodward Mark rounding.
I'm such a fan of Coast Guard. You know,
Yes.
I'm not even great friends or know a lot of people on their team, but I just love that they have so much girl power. You know, Nikki Barnes is an amazing, amazing sailor, and Dana Rohde, she's kicking butt out there, so I love to see that. See, everybody is finishing so close. That's one of the best things about, you know, college nationals or really any high-level championship is it really, you know, takes all of the top competition and it condenses the fleet so much that, you know, one mistake and you could really cost you a lot. It's so tough when everybody's so condensed. And there's your finish. It'll be interesting. You guys keep updating the results at home, on your phones, on your computers. It's so exciting now that everything is so close.
Yeah, definitely a close race right now. I think we're going to pan back up. Yep, so there's B division, the FJs coming back upwind.
Right now you're looking at boats 11 and 1. And here's
So
a
Yale
pan.
there. Looks like their lead may have been able to be condensed a little bit on this upwind, but we'll see. They're going out pretty far right, so we'll see what happens when they tack over.
And it looks like they're getting ready. We just heard the whistles to start the next race for A.
So Yale has tacked back over that top left boat on y'all's screen. Looking very good coming to this top mark, making it, I think with miles, they may even have to bear off a little bit to come down to this mark.
Looks like boat 11 is going to be rounding in the 1. Who's in 11?
Yes, Yale, who had that extraordinary lead coming around that last top mark. And we are still seeing some flood tide on the finish boat. So these teams still need to be taking that into consideration.
Then we have 16, 15, and 1. So, you know, in boat 15, that is the Charleston Cougars, which we love to see, and
I think
and
we'll
1
be rounding
Georgetown.
second. Yeah, so Yale, CFC, Georgetown, I think 16 is going to be rounding
You know,
in fourth there.
After Georgetown having a bit of a fall off this morning, it's really good to see them back up there and in it. I know a lot of the people on the Georgetown team were really hoping to get, you know, that win, but I think it's pretty close in between Charleston and BC right now. Oh, and the updated results. We have Charleston. They were able to take that lead from 1 point up to 4. So, you know, it's so close. It's going to come down to racing all day. But even, you know, Dartmouth could still be in it. But it's really between Charleston and BC, which is making this so exciting because, you know, not only are they competing for the title of the Coed, but for the Fowl Trophy.
Yeah, and so this is your A division score. So BC winning in A division, CFC in second in the B division. So it just goes to show that your overall is not what's going on in the A and the B. So I would be surprised Oh, they're tied. Sorry, that's what we're looking at right now. So College of Charles and Hobart are tied for second right now with 105 points in A division. Hobart doing an extraordinary job, and it'll definitely be close to watch to see who is going to be able to beat out that second and third. Hobart had a really good last race. So there's your B division headed downwind, not going wing on wing.
There you see Fordham and Boston College. That looks like Scotty Sinks and Allison, I think. Scotty's a great sailor. Looking back, trying to figure out where the wind is. It looks like he's having a bit of trouble with that wing on wing, but there he was, able to get that jib filled.
Boat 9, UC Santa Barbara. So now you see A division, their second race, so they are going to be running a W5, 5 legs.
You know, with everything so close, this is just so exciting to watch. You see they're all just luffing there, getting ready for the start. Everybody is so lined up.
The pin has just become more and more favored as the day's gone on. You see most of the team there. 1 having a pretty good start there, as well as 10.
10 having a great start. That's
yeah,
Brown.
We're looking very lifted, getting some nice height against the rest of the team. You see, looks like we had boat 2 was over,
and
as well
7.
as boat 7. Actually Brown.
Coast Guard and Kings
like
Point.
We're having a general recall.
General recall.
Definitely having a general recall for this.
You can see Yale there finishing off their race.
In B division, big win for Yale. Yale's finished as sitting fifth right now, right behind Georgetown. Would not surprise me if they were able to claw back. They've had 2 really good last races, so it wouldn't surprise me if they were able to kind of claw back and actually get into the mix here.
Jack Cusick and Chloe Dapp, followed by boat 1, which is Georgetown Hoyas. Here you're looking at boat 16, and in boat 16 we have Hobart and William Smith. Another exciting, boat to watch, particularly the A division, to see if he's able to pull ahead of Stefano or.
So while we have a moment here while these guys are finishing, we want to give a big shout out to Brooks Clark, who we know is out there watching. He did all of the commentary for our team racing, so thank you to him. I really admired your shirts most of the days, your Hawaiian shirts.
And Brooks is Charleston alum.
Yes,
so.
he is. We have a lot of Charleston alum here. Our PRO is Charleston alum, so Brooks, thank you for coming down here. Hope you had fun while you were here. Thanks for doing all of our commentary.
Hopefully we can, fill your shoes.
One day.
For an hour.
So these guys pretty much all finish in the B division. We have 2 more boats to finish. And then we'll have A division getting going again. So then first race for this rotation is over. We're going to do 1 more race and these guys will rotate. Yep, so we just heard warning signals for this. Okay, so while these guys are kind of getting their start going here, we're going to go to a brief ad, and thank you to the live stream powered by US Sailing.
I'm Morella.
At first, it was a necessity to feed our families, to explore new worlds. And we became one with the sea. We harnessed the water and wind and used the stars to guide us. In that vastness, we created speed and discovered freedom. The sea called us, and our desire for adventure was too instinctive to ignore. So we did it for pleasure, camaraderie, and the challenge. We bestowed it to our children, and they to their children. Now, to know it is to know ourselves. We need it, no longer for survival, but to to escape, to pursue adventure and overcome nature's elements, to match wits against those who share the same calling, or to simply glide across unbroken water in peace.
And we're back, and so it looks like we're getting ready for another start, and we'll keep you guys updated as the start kicks off.
I have to do one more shout out to Brooks here. We just read your comment that says that feeling when college nationals is light years more exciting than the America's Cup. It's so true though. We love hearing that. The America's Cup we know is super interesting, but I don't know. In our opinions, it's more interesting. We're glad that you guys are feeling the same way.
You know, and it's awesome when you're an alum of a team and you're able to come back, or, you know, Brooks was here supporting, but everybody who's online watching, it's so exciting to see your team doing well, especially right now when everything is so close. I updated the scores again, and there's a little bit more of a gap between BC and Charleston, which, you know, is really good for us. But BC is so talented, and they have so many great sailors, so you never know. They could come back so quickly. And here we go at the start. It looks like 15 is down here at the pin. And in 15, we have the Cougars. You see Grace McCarthy up there making sure that her jib is ready, the vang is set, her boat's tuned the way she wants it. And here we go, they're about to take off. You see hiking hard there, the crew. Charleston they were really able to shoot out there at the pin.
I think we may have heard some more horns, maybe another general recall. At least we definitely have some individual recalls. Boat 1 and Boat 9, both over. So Georgetown and Santa Barbara, both over. So
that's got to hurt the Hoyas.
Yeah, definitely going back to clear themselves. And at that point, they're going to go out towards the right-hand side of the course, stay on the attack that they're on, and just clean air, speed. So they're fighting back. College of Charleston, you see they're attacking, crossing Boat 2, Boat 13. Good to see. So Boat 2, all the way on the left-hand side, is the Coast Guard, having another good race, another really good start. And just to the right of them, Boat 13 is Boston University. And again, we pretty much have a slack tide at this point, still slightly flooding. So most of the fleet is going to stay pretty condensed and move hopefully up in a line up along the race course as much as possible.
You're looking at Coast Guard. There they are, looking around, trying to compare where they are in the fleet. They were checking if they could tack. There they go. We'll see how they're doing.
Great roll tack there. Came out with speed. Looking really good on the left-hand side of the course. They have clean air, a lane all to themselves.
And is that Brown right there in 10?
Boat 10, I believe so. Yes, Brown Bears.
I love Brown. Right there in Providence, so many amazing sailors coming out of that program. Hiking right there, you can see the crews working hard.
You see their skipper looking back. He's checking to see if they can tack. So they are the farthest most boat to the left towards the Yorktown, bottom right-hand side of your screen, and they're going to go for a tack there, which I think is a smart move. They don't want to stay too far away from the fleet. And all these skippers, these crews, if they see that most of the fleet is on the right-hand side of the course, the left-hand side of the course, they want to be looking up the course and seeing what everyone else is seeing that they're not seeing, and making sure that they're not going to miss something that could hurt them down the road. So this is not going to be a W5, actually. This is going to be a W3. So they're going to go up to the windward, down to the leeward gate, and then finish back upwind, and they're going to do a rotation. I think they're probably going to try to get this last rotation in for the day, and if they are going to decide to continue running W3s, then probably hopefully get another rotation in. I think they were shooting for 18 rotations, and we're on 15 right now.
Trying to get as much racing in as we can before the 5 o'clock cutoff time.
Definitely being a postponement until 2 o'clock today definitely didn't help with that.
See, 10 looks pretty good up there, Brown, and you have 8 tacking back. 8 is Boston College. 2 right there. Coast Guard. Looking really good, tacking right in front of 13 there.
I think Coast Guard is going to be rounding first with this. BC then.
Nope, 13 is actually Boston University.
Sorry, excuse us. Yeah, so Coast Guard rounding first there. Go Coast Guard. 13 BU there.
Followed by 7, which is Kings Point. They are on fire, having so many great races.
Yes, boat 17 able to get the inside of them though. The Fordham Rams were
Fordham's
able to get inside of them.
doing so well. Oh yeah, Kings Point lost a couple of boats there. 15, the Cougars, followed by...
See the Naval Academy rounding there.
You're looking at boat 1, and that is Georgetown. Hard for them after they were over. It looks like they're about mid-fleet, but hopefully they can, gain a couple boats back.
All right, B division start. Last race for this rotation.
Let's see. Everybody's looking pretty good right now. You can see it's a lot of boats in a straight line. 4 looking a little punched down there. Right there, 4 and 16. And 4 is Navy. And in 16, you have Hobart and William Smith. So
yeah,
interesting to see what Hobart does.
Yeah.
Hobart there, you can see that looks like Hector Guzman, who's sailing B for them. He's a freshman. I know that he went to Christchurch for high school. He sailed with, one of our Cougars, Annabelle Carrington, for a while during high school, and I think right now he's doing really well. If he's only a freshman, he's doing well in B. He's going to have a very promising 4 years for Hobart.
Yeah, we have a lot of young teams out here on the race course right now. I know Roger Williams talked about it earlier today. Have a primarily underclassmen team. So in the next couple years, they're doing amazing now. I can only imagine in 2 or 3 years when they're freshmen, sophomores, or juniors and seniors, how well they're going to be doing.
Great tack there for Hobart, and I'm pretty sure that crew is also a freshman. Right there, boat 14 is George Washington.
Tacking just below Hobart there. Boat 12 is actually looking really good, and I think they're probably going to be crossing those boats that went out right.
Dartmouth, big green.
Dartmouth, they needed this.
Especially interesting to see, Dartmouth, Charleston, and BC all together. It's interesting to see who's in first and how those different races affect the points. Everything is so close. I'm constantly refreshing my scores here in front of me. Charleston still has a bit of a lead.
Definitely closing the gap on BC. They're only 5 points away from each other now, so definitely closing that gap up between the second and third.
Hobart is just out of the top 5. They're in 6th, but only by 4 points. So if they were able to get top 5, that would be so great for their program, who, they haven't been as competitive as the top 5 teams in a little bit, but they did some good recruiting, and see how they stack up over the next 4 years.
So as these guys are coming up, I want to take a brief second. Hi, Mom. She just texted me, said she was watching, so I had to give her a shout out. She's my biggest supporter. She's the reason I still sail. She's awesome. Took me to a lot of regattas as a kid. Hi, Mom. So thank you, Mom. We love you.
And my mom. My mom's also watching.
So thank you to the moms. Moms, keep it up out there. You guys mean the world to your kids. So these guys just coming to the top mark now. Boat 12. Dartmouth coming around first, which is awesome for them.
Then followed by 4. And in 4 is Navy. Just on fire right now. They're having such a great day. Much better day than yesterday. And then there's 2. And in 2 we have Coast Guard. 16 there. And that is Hobart once again. And 9.
Oh, looks like they maybe hit a mark. Having to do some spins there.
16. Is that Hobart?
Yeah, that's Hobart.
You see the Cougars
rounding there, driving around the mark.
a little bit further back in this race than they have been in other races, but hopefully Jack
Cougar's
Cusick and
also
Chloe.
doing a spin. So not good for the Cougars, not good for Hobart.
Such tight racing right now.
Yeah, definitely watch out for BC, which I'm going to get there. BC in boat 8 and CFC in boat 15. Definitely watching them, see who finishes first, because this could definitely change up the leaderboard right now.
Right now you're looking at boat 2 for
Coast Guard.
the A division here, and that is Coast Guard. Yes, they're doing so well right now, about to round the mark, the windward mark in first.
They're crushing it, definitely rounding with a big lead here.
Is that Nikki Barnes for them? Oh, going to the finish here. W3, and then, and then they are rotating. You know, Nikki Barnes was a finalist for Women's College Sailor of the Year, and I know she won last year. So it was cool to see, you know, after Erica won, Nikki run up there and give her a big hug. So it's so nice to know that not only is she such an amazing competitor and, you know, so good at the sport, but a good sportsman too as well.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the nicest, most respectful women's sailor I've met. When she went up for the finalists, she shook everyone's hand. There's a lot of class.
A lot of class.
So Coast Guard finishing first there. Great win for them, followed by boat 11, which was Yale. So awesome finish for Yale there as well.
There you see the Cougars, Grace and Stefano, followed by 3. So, you know, Charleston didn't do as well that set. I know Jack Cusick isn't, you know, as high up as we're hoping right now in B, but
we're hopeful.
Hopefully that doesn't affect the scores too much. 2 more rotations.
Sorry, excuse us. That's not 2 more rotations. It's 2 more races. So they're going to do 1 more rotation. It is 4:30 now. They can't start a race after 5. So this is going to be it. So these next 2 races are gonna determine everything.
Determine it all. Very nerve-wracking. You see 12 coming up there looking so good, and right next to 4. And in 12 we have Dartmouth, Big Green, and in 4 Navy. So looks like Dartmouth still has a bit of a lead, but interesting to see what they do coming up here. 9 tacking out, Santa Barbara. One thing that's interesting about Charleston compared to, you know, a lot of other different college venues is that this is a port. You can see kind of the end of one of the cargo ships right there, but there's constantly cargo ships coming in and out, and it's so interesting to see how that, you know, plays a role on the racing and what teams do to strategize to not get shut out by wind.
And the other thing that race committee and race management has had to deal with is right behind the finish pin is a ferry channel coming into the stern of the Yorktown. So they've really had to watch out for that as well, make sure the boats aren't getting in the way of the ferries.
12 having a great race right now, looking back at your screen, and looks like 12 is Dartmouth. Yeah, really doing so well. So not much different than when we were last talking about it. You can see right now that crew is hiking so hard.
Just trying to keep the boat as flat as possible.
Flat as possible. So it's so nice that, or it's crucial that, you know, the crew keeps the boat flat, that she's able to hike down, so the skipper is really just able to do his best job or her best job at driving and looking up at the sail and being able to really make the boat go fast. Because like we were talking about earlier, you know, hiking and steering a boat are 2 different things, and you really have to be able to do 2 well, but having a crew that is able to hike so well takes a lot of pressure off of the skipper.
Absolutely. So Dartmouth looking like they're going to be crossing boat 4, just the Navy, who looks like they're hopefully be coming in second. I'm going to call it now. I think Navy's going to get second here. But Dartmouth definitely going to be running away with this, running away with the first place. Third will be a little more difficult to call from this far out. First and second we're probably pretty sure of. As these guys come up, hopefully we'll see it play out a little more.
And I just refreshed the scores, Sarah, and after that past race, Yale actually passed BC and moved into that second slot with the Cougars still in first.
Wow, yeah, so I'm not surprised by that at all. Yale's had 2 really strong races.
Let's look out for Yale at this coming in at this finish here.
So as you can see how these boats are just, how these teams are just switching places so often, it just goes to show how tight the racing truly is. So Yale finishing, Dartmouth finishing first for them. That may push Dartmouth back up above BC and then maybe back above Yale, we never know. So Navy finishing second there. They were sitting 9th overall, so that's a huge score for them.
Then you have 13 coming in right now. 13 is Boston University. Girl power, love it.
Yes.
Now you have 2 coming into the finish here. And in boat 2, you have the Coast Guard, another girl boat. You know, I'm so sad. One of my favorite girl boats, URI, Hannah and Rachel, I love them. I wish that they qualified, but they had such an amazing event, you know, both at women's, or primarily at women's. They're such a strong team. I wish that they had made it here to the finals.
All right, so as these guys finish, we're going to take a short break, and thank you for tuning in the live stream powered by US Sailing. We'll be back in a little bit.
Coming to an area near you in 2017, the USA Junior Olympic Sailing Festival is a nationwide series of sailing regattas for youth ages 8 to 18. 30 events are planned this year throughout the United States, and over 5,000 sailors are expected to compete. Learn more and find a USA Junior Olympic Sailing Festival in your area at jo.ussailing.org.
All right, guys, welcome back to the live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. Right now we have the A division headed back out onto the water right now, and we're going to try to pull some scores up for you guys. We had a big mix-up after the B division. So as you see up here right now, College of Charleston still leading with 216 points. Right behind them, tied for second, actually, Dartmouth and BC with 234 points, Yale in fourth, Hobart in fifth, Georgetown actually dropping down now to sixth place. So they have not been having the best day. So this is the A division that we just saw right now. Yes, so CFC dropping down to third though, with BC and Hobart, BC winning, Hobart in second.
So welcome back, and we're excited to follow you guys along. You know, we are so on our toes here, hoping, for Charleston to get that second national championship. It would be insane, so nice for our team. Such a big jump from last year where, we didn't perform as well as we thought we were going to, but this year it's so nice being at our home venue, being able to share this excitement with our whole championship. With our whole team. Yeah. So, and now as you can see for B division, Chris Williford having a great day for Dartmouth. He is currently in first. He's got almost a 30-point lead over Jack Cusick, who's, in second for the Cougars, and Chloe Dapp, his crew, and, Yale also having a great, they're close.
Yeah,
College
Nick
of Charleston
only
and Yale.
3 points away.
Only 3 points away. So, it goes back to kind of what we were talking about yesterday, where you don't have to be winning every race to be winning the regatta. It's just consistency is key. If you're able to, constantly be putting out top five, you don't have to be winning the whole thing, but you just have to be consistent. And if both of your A and your B are consistent, you're winning the championship. So,
yeah, absolutely. Maura makes a great point. And after that A division race in that last race, on the last rotation, Yale actually jumped up to second place. So we had a big turn up there. Things kind of settled back out after the B division had finished their race. But it just goes to show how quickly things can change in the sport of sailing.
So quickly. It's so, we're so excited being here. The teams are sailing back out for the final two races of the entire regatta. After 11 days of being here, it's crazy that it's all so much excitement down to, the last two races. And it was the same way for team race. Everything came down, to the very end. So This could be another big win for the Cougars, or, somebody else could walk away with the championship.
Absolutely. So big things happening. A division, I think pretty much all of them are back out on the water, so probably be hearing warning signals from them happening pretty soon for their start. B division also headed back out on the water, so it's a pretty quick rotation. It's 4:35 right now, so race committee wants to get these races off as soon as possible. We've been doing W4s and W5s for the day. Hopefully we'll be able to finish with those. As you saw in the last race, we did do W3 because we are short on time. Wouldn't surprise me if we did see a W3 for that last race. I don't think we'll do a W2 though at all. I think we'll definitely keep that as a W3.
Oh yes, for sure. I know the PRO, Ryan Davidson, he is just trying to get these races off as quickly as possible, just to make sure that, there are those final two races. He's starting them out as, A division is still sailing back out here. So there's not a lot of time for any general recalls or anything like that, just trying to get these boats off the line. We're already in sequence here. As you can see, people are still sailing to the course, and he is getting ready to kick things off. These could be the last two races, seeing that it's 4:35. I don't know if we're going to have time for anything after that, but these last two races are going to be exciting, you guys. So what you should be looking out for here is, just following along with the top teams. You are going to want to have your eye on the Cougars just to see if they are able to maintain that lead that they have by, they do have a couple of points, but not too many over Dartmouth. So also looking at Dartmouth, Chris Williford has been so strong all day. So if he's able to pull ahead and do really well, and, their other division is also able to do well, they could have quite the comeback. Especially, being tied with BC. The same goes for them. Erica Reinecke currently winning A division. She is so talented. She was the Women's College Sailor of the Year, and, being there, watching her speech, was so inspirational to all women sailors, but I mean, anybody who heard her speak, she did an amazing job. So
your top 4 right now, who are the closest together now, College, Charleston, Dartmouth, followed by BC and then Yale. So the numbers you want to look out for out on the water is Charleston is in boat number 14, Dartmouth in boat number 13, Boston College in boat 9, and Yale in boat 10. Those are your top leaders with the closest scores out there. I would definitely also keep a lookout for Hobart in boat 17. They've been having a great day, jumped up quite a bit, sitting in 5th right now.
Push the Hoyas down to 6. That's got to be hard for Georgetown, you know, going into today winning and right now not even being in the top 5. That's got to be hard.
So A division lining up on the start here. Probably about 30 or less to go.
Looks like 10 is set up at the pin there, the pinmost boat, and in boat 10 you have Gill, so that's somebody you do want to look out for in that green sail right there. And it looks like over at the boat, we have boat 13, and that is Dartmouth, another boat you want to look out for. So, you know, having Yale and Dartmouth on either end, it'll be interesting to see which end, who wins coming up to the windward mark, which side comes out on top.
And they're off, so you saw the big roll, big flattened sails being trimmed.
And right next to boat 10 there in boat 14 are the Cougars, currently winning. You want your eyes peeled on them. If they're able to keep the championship, or you see Grace McCarthy there adjusting her jib, talking to Stefano, letting him know where he's going. Stefano is able to keep such a calm mindset. He's so good at fleet management, and you know, Grace is very tactical, so I'm sure the two of them will be able to hold it together throughout the end of this race and the rest of the championship.
So yeah, so no race can start after 5 p.m., which not even the second race for this rotation. So, and if they start an A race, they have started a B race, so we could be looking at the final races in these divisions.
They're as you can see, Sarah, right now they're starting the
and B race, but they may not be able to start another A race if they don't have time before 5.
They have to have equal races in both divisions, and they can't start a race after 5 p.m. So if they can't get both in, this is going to be the last one.
Yeah.
See 10 out there, Yale, holding down the left side. And then you can see if they're at the top, that yellow boat, kind of hard to see the numbers, but they're definitely leading over on the right. 15 just tacked back in the middle.
The left definitely looking good, and they're coming pretty far left right now. You're probably going to see these guys looking around to see when they can tack.
You can see
they're going to want to start thinking about that.
You're looking at the Cougars right now. You can see their form. 14, they have clear air. Look at them, tacking right on top. Something Stefano does is he likes to keep with, you know, the people that are with him, and if he's able to scooch ahead of somebody, tacking right in front of them just to make sure that he is indeed in front of them. Looks so close right now between Yale and Charleston. The top two boats, looks like Yale is going to probably round in first if they're able to, you know, keep their speed up. There's still a ways to go until they get to the mark, but
Yale has really good height on Charleston right now. They're kind of just able to scooch to windward of them, and just has really good height, really good point right now. And Yale is a notoriously just fast school.
8 is right there with them, and in boat 8 is USC. UC Santa Barbara, sorry. Olay, good for them. You love to see that. Right now you're looking at 13, 5, and 2. In boat 5 right now you have Navy. Navy once again, you know, doing all right, so that's good. And in boat 2 you have Roger Williams. And in 13 there, Dartmouth. Somebody you really want to keep your eyes on. 13 right there.
Yeah, we're going to want to see how Dartmouth and Yale and the College of Charleston all cross each other, how they all come together at this top mark.
Looks like it's still between Yale and Charleston right now.
Yeah, I don't think going to the right was the right call. The left just looks like it paid off beautifully.
It did.
So
Looks like
boat
Stefano.
16.
Stefano and Grace, the Charleston Cougars, I think, were able to sneak in there. And
No, that's Fordham.
Oh, Fordham.
Fordham rounding first there, followed by Kings Point, actually.
Oh, wow. So I was
Yes.
wrong.
Followed by Yale, and then the College of Charleston Cougars. So Kings Point, their last race was really good.
Kings Point's been doing really well today. Oh, no. Boat 7, they're spinning.
Which
They
is-
must have hit the offset. And Boat 7? Who's in Boat 7, Sarah? Oh,
South Florida. So we do still, it looks like 17 as well, also doing some spins. We do still have a flood tide right now, so even though it's 4:30, we're still getting some of this flood tide coming in. So the tide hasn't switched yet, so these teams still need to be worried about that.
Cutting back to the start that you're seeing here, it looks like Boat 5 was over, and they're going back. Boat 5 is Navy, so they're going back. But you can see a lot of the other boats kind of cruising upwind. It looks like 10 is, started out at the port, and they have a bit of room to work with. It looks like they have some air over there, but you can see 7 on the other end really kind of punched out a little bit there with 18. Looks like the majority of the fleet is coming up playing the left side with only a couple of boats going to the right. Some more maybe starting to tack back. Will it be interesting to see what happens? There you go. There's Hector Guzman. We were talking about him earlier from Hobart. His crew looking around, letting him know, what's going on in the fleet behind them, when he'll be able to tack, how they look compared to other boats. Looks like she's mostly telling him how they look against 5 right now. And in Boat 5, there's Navy. 3 boats in a row, Looks like, is that Dartmouth behind them?
Yes, Dartmouth there.
Dartmouth there, in a little bit of bad air. Let's see, maybe Chris is going to think about tacking out. There he goes, tacks right out. Great roll tack. 17, Hobart's going with them. And, last attack right there is, who is that? GW. And they're off, crossing UCSB. UCSB right now, you can see, is just trying to keep their boat flat, looking around. Looks like they're getting ready for attack. And they roll and they're off. Crossing Boat 11. Brown. It looks like maybe that's Lindsay Babb in there for Brown. I know she was a women's All-American and another great sailor. She's from San Francisco. I think she had a pretty successful laser career. Here we're coming back, getting ready to round the gate. Looks like 6 and 16, so
Both winding around that starboard gate.
Kings Point and
Cougars
Fordham.
deciding to go around the left gate, so we'll see how that plays. They're probably going to go out this way a little bit, tack once they can get a lane and cross the rest of the fleet because they do want to go left here.
So this indeed is a W4, so
Yes,
I'm
and
thinking
Yale also went out left with them as well.
So as a W4, we have about 14 minutes left, so I don't think that they're going to be able to start any more races. So it comes down to this. This is exciting, and we want to really be there to, see what happens. 15 and 10 right here you're looking at. 17 looks a bit better. Let's see. I don't know, though. 10, Ian Barrows for Yale. See what he's able to do up here. And there you see Boat 11, and they look like they're just leading, and that is Brown Bears. See what they do up here, if they're able to, how they look with Boat 10 when they match up. And in Boat 10, that's Yale, who you're looking at right there. So it looks
Yale
like
definitely rounding first there.
Yale
with
in
quite a
first
lead.
here.
I think maybe Boat 8 there is going to be rounding second.
Yeah, so Boat 11 actually
Santa Barbara rounding second.
really did not look like that port side came off at all. 11's rounding a lot farther back than it originally looked like. So there you have Boat 8, 17 there, which is that Hobart? 17, yep, and then followed by 3. Here comes Brown now back with 11 and 13 right next to them. Cougars moved back couple of spaces. They're about mid-fleet right now, which is not what they want to be looking at.
So back with the A division now, headed back upwind to complete their last windward mark rounding before headed down to the finish.
Boat 6 right there you are looking at, that is Kings Point. They have really turned it on today, this afternoon. We'll see if they move up at all in the rankings. I know that they were not doing too hot, but I think that they've moved up a significant amount compared to where they were.
I think maybe Stanford here in boat 1 is going to be able to round first. If not, then it's going to be these guys here, boat 16. Fordham, yeah, so Fordham rounding first, followed by boat 6, I think. Kings Point, not Stanford, excuse me, Kings Point, yes.
Yeah. But speaking of Stanford, that's not a name that we have heard all afternoon. I don't know.
No, it's not.
They have not been having a great day.
They're in boat 1 right now, so we'll see if we can catch a glimpse of them.
You have 14 coming back right now, the Cougars. Definitely somebody who you want to have your eyes on because they could very well be the next Coed champions. Nice mark rounding there, and followed by boat 8. Everybody's such close competition right now. Boat 3 and boat 1. At home, you guys should definitely have the rotation sheet up, just in case you were wondering. We are on race 17, so if you're trying to figure out which boat your school is in, or if you're trying to find who you're viewing for at home, just pull up that rotation sheet and look at race 17.
Yes, the last race of the day. In A division, we have Erica Reinecke, Boston College, winning with 109 points. College of Charleston in third right now. I'm going to pull up who's in second.
And it looks like, no, actually, Greiner Hobbs, he was able to get second for Hobart with 114 points, then Stefano in third. So, you know what? I love to see Erica win for BC. BC is such an amazing school, and, you know, Erica's such a great sailor. And personally, I love that a woman won A division of Coed. I think that that's so inspiring. And
not over yet, but we're pretty much there.
For A division. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Excuse me. Yeah, A division. No, A division.
Oh, no, they're still going. They're still going.
We still have one more.
Still one more
results
but
come in. But Erica, our women's college sailor of the year, an amazing sailor. I talked about her a little bit yesterday. Just has so many titles, wins under her belt.
And hopefully, you know, we see Erica here representing Boston College, but hopefully in the coming years we'll see her representing USA at the Olympics. You're looking at boat 8 right now, and that is Santa Barbara.
Yeah, so B division headed back upwind. You may see A division start to cross your screen as well, going from left to right. They're headed to their finish with the B division headed upwind here.
You can see the crew there sliding in and out of the boat, just trying to keep it flat.
Especially with the bad air from the boats going downwind, kind of spontaneously coming across their sails. She wants to be active. She wants to be able to anticipate when the breeze is going to be there, when it's not, and just be active with her weight.
You see the overlap here as the fleets start to cross each other. Man, this is exciting. Everything is just so close. I know Brooks is probably out there going crazy.
Yes, so we're going to stick with A division as they finish their race. Not exactly sure who that is. I know it's a yellow sail, so 16, 17, 18.
Something to pay attention to right now is this cargo ship that is coming out, going back out to sea, and you know that could really take a lot of the wind away, cause a great wind shadow, and that has a big effect on the downwind, you know.
Only in Charleston do you see that. So boat 16, Fordham Rams winning that race. Huge win for them.
Way to go, Rams. You can see them giving each other a high five. Great way for them, you know, to end the day. There's no way there's going to be any more races.
With Kings Point just finished second. It looks like College of Charleston Cougars finishing third in this race.
Huge. Hopefully that's enough. Hopefully that's enough to keep the championship.
My heart is racing right now.
Right there, Grace and Stefano, you know, they're probably freaking out, hoping that it was just enough to...
Yeah, you see them giving themselves a little, maybe a secret handshake, who knows. They've been sailing with each other for years now. Both juniors, both going to be seniors next year.
Actually, Sarah, they only just started sailing together this year.
See, I learn new things every day.
Yeah.
But they've been doing incredible
well.
sailors, Stefano.
Grace,
giving the camera a little thumbs up.
Grace actually sailed with Dodge Reese last year, and Dodge was a great sailor. We miss him so much on our team, and you know, Grace has been able to transition into sailing with Stefano so well. You can see them right there. Stefano looking back at the camera, happy.
They're probably going to hang out around here to see how the B division does finish, because I believe they're also about to head down to the finish.
Grace McCarthy looking done for the day.
Yeah. Stefano just soaking up all the camera love right now. All right, there we go. B division rounding first. That is boat 8, I believe.
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Really good race, rounding pretty far ahead in first, followed by
15, which is George Washington.
Good race for them. Ned's running up to grab everyone.
Right now?
They're doing a W4. All right, so you see on your screen here, Stefano Picher talking with Hobart about their race, about their day. Cougars definitely going to hang out down at the finish. They want to see how their team's going to finish. It is their last race of the day.
And you know, I think Stefano, he's got it all figured out. I think that he knows that he probably is, you know, about to win another national championship.
Hopefully.
Especially at home, it is so amazing for the entire team to be here to celebrate with our team. They are so excited, about to hug, hopefully.
It's not over yet though. CFC didn't round as well as they probably would have hoped in that top mark there. Just refresh my scores. CFC is in first with 219, followed by Yale now in second with 247 points, then followed by Boston College and then Dartmouth University. So you can see how everything changes so quickly.
There is a bit of a gap though, so hopefully the Cougars are looking at another win. Coming downwind here, we are on the final leg of the, 2017 Gill Coed National Championship.
So exciting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us, and thank you to US Sailing for powering this live stream. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. We're going to stick with you guys until we get down to the finish.
Ten right there that is in first, and that's the Yale Bulldogs. So you never know if Yale has a really good race and Jack Cusick doesn't. I think that the Charleston is looking pretty favorable, but you never really know. Where is Charleston right now? Do we see them?
I don't, but I did just get the results for the A division. So Stefano Picher able to actually pull off a first place finish in the A division, followed by Hobart, William Smith in second place, and then Boston College and Erica Reineke in third place.
So it looks like Stefano was able to give Jack Cusick quite a bit of room for comfort in order to win the second championship for the Cougars.
Still not over though. It's still not over. Remind everyone, we are very happy because it looks promising, but again, anything can happen. You never know. You just never know. We can't spot the College of Charleston Cougars right now in the field. Looks like boat 10, Yale, is hopefully going to be winning this race coming in, followed by, hopefully we'll be able to see them in a second. I want to say boat 15. boat 15, George Washington coming in second there.
Maybe even first.
Actually, yeah, I think actually George Washington may have been able to pull off the first there. Yale coming in.
Yeah, it looks like Yale's
second,
still a
yes.
bit, still a bit ahead.
Followed then by boat 8.
Eight.
Santa Barbara pulling off a third place. That's awesome for them. Huge.
And then Hobart in 17.
Hobart in 17, excuse me. Boat 12, Boston University coming in 4th. Boat 11, Brown there.
So we still have yet to see the Cougars or Boston College.
Exactly, boat 7, USF finishing there. I think I see a Cougar boat there. So you guys want to keep your eye out for boat 9 and for boat 14. I think College is about to finish there. We can hear some cheers down at the finish there, so definitely tune in. So yeah, you see hugs there, guys. I think
CFC hugs. This is such a great day to be a Cougar. 2 championships. And
I may cry in a second, guys.
I know.
But guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the live stream powered by U.S. Sailing. I'm Sarah Wilkinson.
And I'm Maura Lonergan, and it is a great day to be a Cougar.
Yes, it is. Cougar Pride.
They're about to. We want to film over here.
Get over there.
He's snaky, bro. Yo, Augie. Sorry. Come on. I just know if you saw me or not. Wow, that's unreal.
Don't do that to me.
Kelly, we're about to hit that.
Okay, so our commentators had to run down to the dock to celebrate the Cougars. I'm Kate Wilson. I've been the producer here of this live stream all week. We had John Rogers here earlier, but as he mentioned, he had to get back to San Diego to his family, to his flight. So John, if you're listening in the couple minutes before your flight takes off right now, thanks so much for a great week. We also want to thank everyone else who came out and helped us commentate to get these races going, from Brooks Clark during team racing to Matt from Gill and everyone else who stopped by. We here at Deegan Media and the rest of the crew couldn't have done it without the amazing support of the USS Yorktown, where we've been broadcasting from since we got here. We have this great setup here in a hangar overlooking the race courses with Harry Newell on the fixed wired cam that you've been looking at, Colton Wright down in the water, Corey Potter, Light Y with Jonathan from San Diego. He was able to get down here. He was down here days before any of the sailors got here, setting up that Wi-Fi, thanks to the IT department here on the Yorktown. Believe it or not, there's a fiber optic connection here on the ship that was here during World War II. If you didn't see my interview earlier, it happened while during the wind delay to talk to a 95-year-old Bill Watkinson, who actually served on the Yorktown and was sitting out here in front of the plane. He actually did. Check out that interview because it was quite amazing, especially that we got to be here over Memorial Day weekend. We've been here for almost 10 days now, and we're pretty excited that our hometown heroes took it in, but congratulations to all the teams. Yale for winning women's, the Sperry Women's National Championship, the Cougars for also clinching the Laser Performance Team Race National Championship, and the Cougars for once again. I also just want to give a shout out to everyone else who has finished really well today. Stefano, actually from the College of Charleston, won A Division today with his crew, Grace McCarthy, finishing 120 points. 123 points was my alma mater, Hobart and William Smith Colleges, with Griner Hobbs skippering that boat. He had his crew Anna Flattery and Lindsay Cluck helping him out through the week. And Erica Reinecke finishing third. It really all came down to that last final race for that toss-up for the low point in A Division. And with her crews, Allison Bohan and Lily McGrath. It was very tight racing, as you guys saw today. The wind barely held out for us, but it filled in nicely for the end of the day. And hopping over to B Division, low point in B Division goes to Dartmouth College. Christopher Wilford with his crew, Sophie Kier and Nathaniel Greason, finishing with 80 points, doing pretty much sweeping up that B Division. 23 points behind him were the Yale Bulldogs with Nicholas Baird and his crews, Grace Ann and Natalia. And finishing out in third place is Jack with the College of Charleston's with his crew Chloe. So couldn't have done it with everyone down here. Kent Rich, our editor from Granite River Studios, was here for the first 2 days. And now we have Peter from EVP Media and Marketing. These guys are from New Hampshire coming down here to deliver this. Our executive producer, Dan Egan, who has the unfortunate task of not being here with us today because he is in Bermuda watching the America's Cup. And we are very thankful that you guys were watching this, not the America's Cup this week. So thanks to them, and thanks to Adam Burke, who's our graphics guy, 19 years old, coming down, pretty much did some amazing things behind the scenes here. We've got wires coming out of everywhere, wireless networks being set up to bring you all this on Facebook Live and live stream. And we just want to thank all of our sponsors. And as we start to wrap it up here, I just want to say on behalf of myself and everybody here at College of Charleston, and we just want to say thank you and come back next year. This is the live stream powered by US Sailing.